Tonight from San Diego, one of Bowl Week's most explosive outings annually. Its history includes the names of some of college football's greatest offensive players in their greatest games. Tonight, the annals of the Plymouth Holiday Bowl grow by one chapter as Bowl Week heads west to San Diego. Colorado's Koy Detmer wants his first bowl start and last college game to be a great one. While Washington's sudden star, Corey Dillon, is predicting he'll stampede through the Buffalo's defense. A pair of excellent 9-2 teams ready to collide in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl coming up. Big 12 versus Pac-10. This is the Sears Trophy. The national champion is blank, but that football is all polished up. The only question is, which nameplate will go in that trophy for '96? Will it be the Seminoles, who play here in the Nokia Sugar Bowl, ranked #1 in both polls, or Arizona State, undefeated in the Rose Bowl, ranked #2, or Florida, ranked #4, which needs Arizona State to lose and for them to beat the Seminoles? Welcome to our Bowl Kickoff Show from New Orleans. Chris Fowler along with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. Plenty on this game, plenty on the Rose Bowl, plenty on the Plymouth Holiday Bowl coming up. But first, to the game down here in New Orleans. A matchup of, over his career, the most efficient quarterback in college football history, Heisman winner Danny Wuerffel, and perhaps one of the most fearsome pass rushes in college football history belonging to the Seminoles. Florida State won round one of that matchup and, of course, the first meeting. So Mark Schwartz reports on the Gators' new wrinkle to even the score.
He's been sacked 18 times in his last 3 games against Florida State. Enough already. Time for the Wuerffel Protection Program. Florida's pass blocking has been anything but bulletproof, so the Gators plan to reach for the shotgun.
The shotgun gives you the ability to get rid of the ball.
I guess it gives them 0.5 seconds more, I guess. I don't know.
To be removed from it, you can still get some balls off. If you have a mistake in assignments or if someone doesn't quite get a great block.
Wuerffel shredded Alabama from the shotgun. 11 attempts, 9 completions, 4 for touchdowns. But the Noles say it's not the answer to their relentless pressure.
No, not at all. I think that adds more pressure because at least we know when they're in shotgun, no backs back there, and it's a quarterback back there, you know they're going to pass the ball.
If a guy's in a shotgun and I'm not double team, I feel like I should get there every time.
Shotgun or not, if Spurrier continues to flood the field with receivers, the floodgates will be open.
If he's going to send out 5 receivers, there ain't but 11 of them out there. That's 5 protectors, right? If we bring 6, somebody's getting a hit. We love none-on-one. You know, you can't beat none-on-one.
Say what you want about Spurrier's blocking schemes. The fact is, injuries, youth, and a key suspension have forced him to play musical chairs with his offensive line all season. Now, the line has had more than 3 weeks to heal and establish cohesiveness, but the question is, can it establish a secure pocket for Wuerffel? Chris?
If we knew the answer to that question, it'd be very easy to predict the outcome of this football game. Spurrier always reluctant guys to use that shotgun. Wuerffel says it makes it tougher to hit those quick-hitting routes. Meanwhile, those Florida State defensive linemen, you talk about a confident bunch. We talked to them today. They don't think they can be blocked.
Well, they should be confident after the way they played in that Florida game the last time on November 30th. I'll give you 2 reasons why Florida State is so effective at rushing a quarterback. Number 1, the quality of athletes they have up front. And the second reason is the quantity. All 4 guys on the outside, you have guys like Renard Wilson, Peter Boulware combined for 32.5 sacks. On the inside, Spain and Wadsworth. You can't double team anybody. And with Florida using 3, 4, and sometimes 5 wide receivers, makes it that much easier to apply that pressure.
Kirk, when you're watching this Sugar Bowl, you talk about athletes, you're looking at matchup of teams that produce a lot of National Football League players. Florida State had 32 Noles on the opening day rosters of the National Football League this year. The Gators had 23. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 5% of the National Football League. That's not bad for 2 schools from the same state, my friend.
A lot of athletes.
Seminoles, plenty of all pros, but do you know the last first-round draft pick on Florida's offense in the NFL?
You've been waiting for this one.
No, who is it?
It surprises people. Emmitt Smith was the last first-round draft pick in the NFL off of Florida's offense. That was the pre-Spurrier era. Let's get back to the ball game now. Florida State getting a little healthier on the offensive line, and that's important for them.
Yeah, one of the main reasons Florida State beat the Gators is they ran the ball so effectively at them. In fact, they had 183 yards rushing to the Gators' 81. And one of the main reasons, they ran behind a giant offensive guard named Walter Jones. Now, Walter is 6'5", 290 pounds. He's a second-team All-American. He had only one penalty call on him against him this year, and he had one sack against him. He's a great football player. Now, if the Noles expect to beat the Gators, they're going to have to do exactly the same thing. They're going to have to stick it right at them. Ball control. 1st and 10, do it again. Move the sticks. Therefore, they keep Danny Werfel and his friends sitting on the pines, my friend.
They should want to do that because they are they can hit you quick, that's for sure. Florida State's pass rush, it's been getting a lot of attention this week, and for good reason. If you give Danny Werfel time to throw, the advantage of the Gators wide receivers with Ike Hilliard, Riedel Anthony against the Florida State defensive backs, it favors the Florida Gators. Riedel Anthony, 72 catches on the year. He really came on strong latter part of the season, led the nation with 18 touchdown grabs, and last time against Florida State, 11 catches, 193 yards and a score. Ike Hilliard on the other side, 47 catches, 88% for first downs, and he had 10 touchdowns on the year. Now, if Florida gives Danny Werfel time to throw in this football game, it could be a long day for Florida State because of that speed on the outside.
You mentioned how good the pass rush is. You have to talk about the fact that Florida State's secondary not up to what they've had in years past as far as all-star candidates, and the Gator receivers firmly believe that, too.
We know about that.
More coming up on the Sugar Bowl as we count down to the Holiday Bowl, and it's the Rose Bowl. We'll check in with the Sun Devils and the Buckeyes. Mike Tirico, company out there in Pasadena, as we continue on our Bowl Kickoff Show. Television, you definitely appreciate guys who can tap dance. We found some in the French Quarter down there. Great footwork, fellas. I'd like to check out the bowl recap so far. The Big Ten 2-0, Wisconsin and Iowa winning very impressively, playing some great defense. Miami and Syracuse making the Big East 2-0. On the other end of the spectrum, Seminole fans, your ACC 0-2. Clemson and Virginia going down. Sometimes the results of the early bowls can be a predictor for how teams are going to do in the New Year's Day bowls. If that's true, then it bodes well for Ohio State playing in the Rose Bowl against the Pac-10's Arizona State. Mike Tirico checks in from there where there was some news for the Buckeyes today. Mike?
Yeah, Chris, the big question out here, the only remaining question, what was going to happen behind us in the Rose Bowl? Who's going to be the starting quarterback for Ohio State? Would it be Arizona native Joe Germain, guy who used to have Arizona State season tickets? We thought we wouldn't know until game time, but Mike Adamle, you were at Ohio State practice, and we got an answer today.
Well, I went down to Costa Mesa, Michael, and all week long there had been a dark cloud over Ohio State's practices. Who would start at quarterback, Jackson or Germain? Today, John Cooper made that decision, and the answer was Stanley Jackson. The reason why, according to outgoing quarterbacks coach Walt Harris, Stanley had the better week of practice, but only slightly. It's not really that big of a surprise when you consider that Stanley Jackson was 10-0 as a starter before practice. I asked him if he was relieved.
I don't know if it's a relief, but it's always good to go out and start a football game, and it's something that I'm looking forward to against a great team in Arizona State and a great defense. And I think all we're going to do is stick within ourselves and not make any big mistakes, not turn the ball over, and put our defense in a real good situation. I think we'll have a real good chance of winning the game.
You know, it may have been a bigger distraction for the media than the players, Michael, but I got a different sense about this Ohio State team. Watching them in practice today, they were extremely loose. They are ready to play football.
Speaking of loose and ready, 100 miles across the Southland, the story was the same with Arizona State. And this team was so loose as they made their final preparations for the Rose Bowl, which is less than 48 hours away. I asked Coach Bruce Snyder, how natural is his team acting?
I think there's a chance that can be almost a facade, you know, that you're almost too tight, so you figure out a way to make everybody believe you're loose. You know, have you ever done that? You know, whistle in the cemetery type of thing? Well, I'm not scared, you know. But I think we're going to be fine. It's my job now, particularly in the last 30-some hours, is that I don't show that I'm uptight.
We've kind of screwed around all year. That's just kind of, we got a lot of character on this team. We got a lot of individuality, and that's just the way we are. You know, if we came out here and we're stressing out, taking it too seriously, then there'd be something wrong.
It's the way we've been all year long. I think that's helped us out a lot. And the teams in the past I played on have been real tense and uptight. And I think we're relaxed. The coaches are getting us relaxed. We're confident right now, but we know we have to go in and play a good game to win this game.
Well, if you are like Snyder and wonder if it's a facade, after we got done talking to the coach, there was another reporter waiting.
We're here with Coach Snyder. Coach, we're going to clean up some rumors about that you're going to start wide receiver Kim Mitchell at wide receiver, quarterback, and running back. He's going to throw to himself, hand off to himself. Is that true?
I would ask you, can you do that? Are you capable of doing that?
If I threw the ball real high, maybe.
Mitchell did catch a touchdown here in the Rose Bowl in the regular season game, the come-from-behind win over UCLA. For some of the keys on the Rose Bowl, to the men who'll call it New Year's Day on ABC, Dick Vermeil and Brent Musburger.
Well, Mike, things are really coming up roses for the Big Ten so far. Remember now that both Wisconsin and Iowa have rolled, so the Buckeyes have to be optimistic because of that. Dick, you've been to both practices. What'd you find with Ohio State?
Well, I really think, Brent, that Ohio State, having lost the Michigan game, I think it's going to be critical that they come out and play well early in the football game because they are a good team. We know it. We've seen them play a number of times. #1 offense in the conference, #1 defense in the conference. But I still believe they have to start out real well if they're going to win the football game.
Now, Jake the Snake, the last time he was here, he was down 3 touchdowns to UCLA. So Arizona State, if they're going to win a national title, they need to start out well, too.
You know something? They like the role of the underdog. And they like to come from behind, though they'd like to start out fast in this football game because they'd like to keep Ohio State wondering if they are the team they were in the midseason or are they the team that got beat by Michigan. But they're a very confident group of kids, but not cocky. Work with good discipline, good concentration. They're very impressive.
You know, a lot of folks, Mike, think they've got the wrong favorite for this game. Arizona State is unbeaten. But remember this, the spread for the Rose Bowl was set before the Michigan game. So the Buckeyes stay the favorite.
They're the underdog, they're unbeaten, but they're undisturbed really by that, Mike. Now, there's heavy rain expected here tonight, 50-50 chance of rain during the game. Do the Buckeyes think that'll be a factor in the game?
Well, you know, it's funny with all the talk about the two quarterbacks, Joe Germain and Stanley Jackson, who would start, the unsung hero or the forgotten hero for Ohio State. Running back Pepe Pearson, I talked to him this morning. He said, hey, I'd like to run the rock about 32 times, 150 yards, and as far as an off-track is concerned, it's not going to bother me at all. It doesn't bother John Cooper either.
It's been 27 games since Arizona State played in the rain, so that would add an interesting dimension to the Rose Bowl. More from here on SportsCenter, and tomorrow, right now, we send you back to New Orleans to Chris and company.
Mike, thank you. The rain certainly will be a factor in the Rose Parade, which is an equally big event to folks in Southern California. Let's go back to the quarterback issue for Ohio State. Stanley Jackson gets his job back after an undefeated 10-0 record during the regular season. Do you agree?
Yeah, we saw the Buckeyes play 3 times. I like Stanley Jackson. In fact, if I was coaching him, I'd never take him out for even one play. I see he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, we talked about that all season long.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a Michigan game. Stanley Jackson, let's hope, with this move by Coach Cooper and Coach Mike Jacobs, the new offensive coordinator, let's hope this will get his confidence going because as the season wore on, Stanley Jackson's confidence went down because of lack of playing time. By naming him a starter early like this maybe can ignite him and get him going.
And you say he's been inspired by his teammates' support throughout the whole process. He'd better rebuild some confidence if you're going to win a Rose Bowl game. It helps to have a confident quarterback. Arizona State certainly has one.
Well, Arizona State has a quarterback. They have receivers. Their offense is sensational. They average over 42 points a game. They got great skilled people. But the key to this ball game might be their tight end, Steve Bush. Watch him up the middle. Now, Steve is 6'3", 256. He's a senior. He's the 3rd leading receiver on a team, although he missed 3 games. Against USC here, he caught 7 passes, including a 4th quarter touchdown. Now, the Buckeyes might double cover Poole. They're going to rush old Plummer, but watch out. That sneaky Bush might sneak up in the middle of tight end and give the Buckeyes a little problem or two.
Well, as much man-to-man coverage as they play, linebackers better beware of it. Now, the Ohio State defense has been one of the best in the entire country all season long. Sure, they're talented, but with 7 seniors starting on the defense, the difference this year has been the leadership. Nowhere can that be seen more than the bookends in Mike Vrabel and also Matt Finkes. He's done a nice job. Vrabel, Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year the last 2 seasons, has school record with 36 career sacks, including 9 this year. He has started every game in the last 3 years. On the other side, Matt Finkes, 6'2", 260, also has started every game in the last 3 years. 14 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks this year, has very, very good speed on the outside. Now, Vrabel and Finkes are known for their pass rushing ability, but they're equally as good at stopping the run. And is facing an Arizona State team that has so much balance, that's a very, very good sign.
Well, very few teams average more than 200 rushing and passing. Got a couple of them out there in the Rose Bowl. Should be a great game. A couple of great offenses waiting in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. Now, while some of the Washington Huskies' thoughts this week have gone back home where a devastating storm has piled snow and then rain in their state, they've been enjoying the weather down in San Diego, getting ready to play Colorado, a team that crushed another Pac-10 team last year in the Cotton Bowl. They beat Oregon handily. Will the game be high scoring? Well, check out the trends so far in bowl games. The first 7 bowl games of this bowl season, total points per game, teams combined less than 44 points a game. Last year, in the same 7 bowls, almost 60 points per game. Now, last year's Holiday Bowl high scoring, K-State just way too much physically for Colorado State's defense. We expect a much closer matchup in this year's ball game between Washington and Colorado. Both teams 9-2. The guys who will call the game, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, now check in from San Diego. Guys?
All right, and we expect a lot of points and a lot of offense, but the defenses don't, I guess. But Corey Dillon, Chris, is a guy that I think a lot of people maybe east of the Mississippi have no clue what he's about. Over 1,500 yards rushing this year. He's been talking a lot this week that he's going to have a big game, and I guess he's backed it up all year.
Well, you know, and another thing, yes, he is a sensational running back, but he also can talk, but he's got 3 guys, sensational blockers in front of him, and these are big-time players. Bob Sapp, MVP of the Pac-10 Conference, Olin Kreutz, the center, and Benji Olsen, a first-team All-American at a right guard, a 300-pound sophomore. And the reason they will go at Matt Russell from 3 different directions, they know that for Washington to effectively run the ball, they're going to have to account for number 16, and they're going to find a way to block him, I think.
I said to Corey Dillon yesterday, you'll see a lot of number 16,
yeah.
And then Matt Russell said,
yeah, well, I'm ready. He's been talking a lot all week, and I've heard it, and I'm ready to play, and he got real serious right then.
All the talk comes to a head in about 10 minutes. Chris will be back with the Plymouth Holiday Bowl shortly.
All right, guys, look forward to it. All signs point to Rick Neuheisel, by the way, returning to Colorado next year, despite the speculation here about going to the Detroit Lions and his ties with the Ford family there. He's not been contacted by any NFL team, neither has his agent, who also happens to be his dad. Countdown continues to kick off down there in San Diego. Talked about some of the offensive players. Matt Russell frothing at the mouth, the Butkus winner, his last college game for the Buffaloes. More on our kickoff show after this. On the Bayou, got to take a look at the tussle in Tallahassee, a rebroadcast on ESPN2 of ABC's telecast. You can see it Thursday, the afternoon before the showdown here at 3 o'clock Eastern time, plus the insightful analysis of this year's Corso and Herb Street in that ball game coming up. As we look ahead now to the Nokia Sugar Bowl and also the Rose Bowl, we want to bring in our blitzers for a look. We'll start off with Ivan Maisel, who's on the Seminole beat.
Florida State beat Florida this season for the same reason that Bobby Bowden has lost to Steve Spurrier only twice in 8 games. The themes are defense, special teams, and turnovers. Ends Peter Boulware and Raynard Wilson teed off on Danny Werfel because the Gators couldn't run the ball. Against Florida State, Florida's average down and distances were 2nd and 11 and 3rd and 10. In the 8 games against Spurrier, the Seminoles are +9 in turnover margin. And in the kicking game, the Seminoles blocked 6 kicks this season, including a Gator punt that set up a touchdown. And don't forget that Scott Bentley missed only 2 field goals this season. He's the only player in college football who has made a field goal to win a national title. All in all, a lot of reasons to like Florida State. The Bowl Blitz continues with Tony Barnhart.
For Florida, beating Florida State could be as simple as 1, 2, 3. 1, they've got to protect Danny Werfel, because if Werfel gets just a little more time, he and Rydell Anthony will make some big plays against the Florida State secondary. But Florida can't win if the Heisman winner takes another beating. 2, do a better job of tackling Warrick Dunn, who got a career high last time against the Gators. In other words, make Thad Busby carry the Florida State offense. And 3, no mistakes on the special teams. Lately, the Gators have been a little sloppy there. Simple? Yeah. Easy? No, not really. But if the Gators can do those 3 things, they could give Steve Spurrier his first national championship. And now the Bowl Blitz continues with Gary Danielson.
The Buckeyes can spit out that sour taste of a Michigan loss and beat Arizona State with a plan as simple as 1, 2, and 3. First, let's go back to the original quarterback rotation. Stanley Jackson started and won 10 games. Joe Germain, he's your relief man. 2, Pepe Pearson's no Eddie George. Ohio State has to stop trying to be rockheads and run the ball between the tackles. Open up the game plan. And 3, if you spy, you die. Don't be worried about Jake Plummer scrambling around. Attack, attack, attack. By the way, if Arizona State comes out in those Michigan-style helmets, all bets are off. Let's now look at the Arizona State perspective with Gene Wojciechowski.
If Bruce Snyder has his way, here's how Arizona State wins the Rose Bowl. Okay, Ohio State only gives up about 10 points per game, which means ASU and Jake Plummer have to make the most of their scoring chances. No problem. Inside the 20-yard line, ASU has scored an amazing 46 of 49 times. Sun Devils also need to find room for the underrated Terry Battle, who has Boffo numbers in just 5 starts. Michigan beat the Buckeyes by running the ball, so can Arizona State. 2 other ifs. If ASU can turn this into a passing contest, the Buckeyes are doomed. And if it's a close game, and it should be, give the edge to Robert Neese. Unlike the Buckeyes, Neese hasn't missed an extra point this season, hasn't had a kick blocked, but guess what? He has had a game-winning field goal.
Thanks, guys. Less than 10 minutes from the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. Brock Huard, he stepped in because of an injury, done a great job at quarterback for the Huskies this year. That's the scene in San Diego as the Buffaloes and the Huskies get set to play the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. Coming up next in just a few minutes now. Good matchup. A couple of senior classes that have interesting stories. Washington senior class that came there after the probation. Only 5 survivors from that class left. Wow. All of them are starters. It's also the final game for a very talented class of seniors at Colorado who frankly have felt their careers to be bit of a failure. They haven't won a conference title, but they're also undefeated in bowls. They can make it 4 straight. What about some matchups in the game?
Well, the winner of this game it's going to be big for either school. I think some matchups to watch. Number 1, when Washington has the football, Colorado will crowd the line of scrimmage, try and take away Corey Dillon, and make Brock Huard beat them through the air. On the other side of the football, you're looking at the best passing offense in school history for Colorado. Coy Detmer to Ray Cruz all night long tonight. Look for Cruz against those young cornerbacks of Washington. I like Colorado.
You know, Kirk, you talk about all the passing you want for Colorado. They do have some great skilled people, but here's the key stat. Colorado is 8-0 when they rush for 100 yards or more in one game. The key player tonight, Herschel Troutman, running back. Now, Herschel leads the team with 804 yards rushing this year. But the interesting point also, he's an excellent pass receiver. The guy caught a pass in every football game this year, and big passes at that. Now, experienced and confident Colorado, as you said, they have 15 seniors, and those 15 seniors have won 38 ball games. I think that experience and confidence, I think they win the ball game, but close.
Not so fast. We didn't have a not so fast?
Not so fast.
We'll have
Are
to
you
wait
kidding
for
me?
tomorrow for that.
Again, motivation, psychological factors. Does Colorado take Washington seriously enough after waxing another Pac-10 team, Oregon, in a bowl last year? That will be key. Reminder, ABC has the 2 biggest of the bowls, the granddaddy of them all, on New Year's Day, of course, at 4:30 Eastern Time. As the Gators practice, by the way, in the Superdome and then get on a bus. They're not even going to be watching as they prepare for the Nokia Sugar Bowl, of course, on Thursday night on ABC at 8 o'clock. We're here at 6:30 with 90 minutes of pregame coverage. Almost kickoff time in San Diego. The Buffaloes and the Huskies. Brad and Gary and company set to take you through a very patriotic pregame show. We'll see you back here at halftime. Early on Wednesday morning, special start time for College Game Day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live from across the street from the Superdome. Plenty on all the bowl games New Year's Day, and then Thursday night again. Join us. SportsCenter coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern Time, a special half-hour edition of Game Day at 7:30, right up until ABC's telecast at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Coming up at halftime, we'll have more on this game on the Rose Bowl as Lee and Kirk join me, and also ABC's Todd Blackledge. There's another room on the set here. He's going to check in and add his insight to these games. But now it's off to San Diego. Always one of the most exciting games of the bowl season. The Plymouth Holiday Bowl. The Buffaloes and the Huskies. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Adrian Carson set to call the fireworks to San Diego, guys.
All right, guys, they just had the pregame fireworks, and Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week continues on ESPN from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. It is the Plymouth Holiday Bowl coming up next. Our matchup, the 13th ranked team in the country, the Huskies of Washington from the Pac-10, and from the Big 12, the Buffaloes of Colorado, ranked number 8. Only one loss in conference play for both these teams as Colorado takes the field. And they'll be led out by Ralphie, who's anxious. And so are these two teams to get together and tangle here in San Diego. acquaintances, familiar faces of college football prominence. Washington and Colorado have each claimed national championships in the 90s, and they remain two of the most celebrated powers in all the West. For the third straight meeting, both teams are nationally ranked. In 1989, Colorado's emotional tribute game to the passing of a friend. In 1990, another critical non-conference win on the Buffs' road to the national title. Memories of Colorado and Washington, frozen in time with another to enjoy tonight. A beautiful night in San Diego, California for the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. Washington and Colorado set to do battle. And the Huskies likewise, only once beaten in their conference this year. And both teams come in tonight looking for win number 10 on what have been very spectacular regular season. And hi, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Gary Danielson. Welcome to San Diego. We think this should be a dandy. Number 8, number 13. Colorado is only 12 points away from an unbeaten season. Washington's only loss in conference play was to Arizona State, and they're undefeated. That's the kind of matchup we have.
Scouts have been telling me there's 20 draftable players on this field tonight. These are teams that could play in any bowl and feel good about the talent matchups.
Ton of offense. Let's start with Colorado. Koy Detmer ends his career here tonight.
What a resourceful football player he is. Tremendous passing attack. He's the guy that's going to be throwing it all over the football field. Tremendous depth at the receivers, and they've got a coach, I believe his name is Neuheisel, that I think is going to say, you know, it's all right to throw the ball in this game.
Washington might throw the ball a little bit too. They got a redshirt freshman left-hander that would like to do it.
He is a beautiful thrower. It's big and he can really let it go, but it is really not the center of this offense. The center of this offense, Brock Huard will throw it, but not a lot. A sensational running back, Corey Dillon, has changed this football team. They wanted to be balanced, but Corey Dillon, after about the 4th game when he became a starter, they changed. They want to run it tonight, and their goal is to rush for more than 200 yards.
Impressive offenses on both sides. Physical defenses on both sides. Adrian will have the final word before we kick it. Colorado and Washington in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl coming up next. Diego, we've talked about all the offensive weapons tonight. There's more to this game than that, though. Let's check in with Adrian.
Right, you're absolutely right. While you and Gary are sitting up there talking offense, I'm telling you, we can't kick this one off without looking at the defensive side of life, especially tonight when we get to watch 2 All-American linebackers with very different priorities. First of all, for the Colorado Buffaloes, Matt Russell, Butkus Award winner. And I'll tell you guys something, if there was ever a young man who personified Dick Butkus, Matt Russell would be it. His attitude tonight, nothing and no one is going to stop him from stuffing the run. He's got a great nose for the football. He says he can literally smell the ball coming. For the Huskies, another great linebacker, Jason Chorik. Here's a young man who led the Pac-10 in sacks this year. He set a school record in tackles for a loss. He tonight now, guys, is not so concerned about stopping the run as he is getting in Koy Detmer's face and intimidating Colorado's passing game. Brad, classic college football tonight. We get to watch 2 young men who just absolutely love to play this game.
Speaking of young men, a young coach, Rick Neuheisel, only his 2nd season.
Boy, he looks tight, doesn't he?
Yeah, little laid back West Coast attitude. On the other side, a defensive wizard for all his years, 28 of them. At Washington, 4th as the head coach, Jim Lambright. Got a fast track right now. There's a possibility of rain, they told us, but so far it has stayed away. 61 degrees. It's beautiful, as always in San Diego. Picture perfect for our Plymouth Holiday Bowl kickoff. Colorado won the toss. They deferred. They will kick. And Washington set to receive to open the ball game. These teams have met 8 previous times. Colorado leads the series, 4 wins, 3 losses. There's been 1 tie. Jarzinka and Pathan are back deep. That's Jerome Pathan, and he is a dangerous wide receiver. Jason Leslie's got it teed up. The fans in town this week, I think, more excited, more rabid than I've ever seen them for the Holiday Bowl, Gary.
Absolutely. Both teams feeling that this game can be a springboard to next season.
We're underway. Pathan from the goal line. Got himself a nice block. Almost broke it. Took it out to the 35. Excellent return. Ryan Black may have saved a touchdown. Washington offensively. We talked about their sensational redshirt freshman quarterback, and there he is, Brock Huard. Coming on so strong as the season progressed. Dillon in Keaeho will round out the Washington backfield. Pathan, you just saw him. He's their favorite receiver. 41 catches, 7 for touchdowns with Coleman and Cleland. Up front, Gary talked about these three guys. Sapp, Kreutz, and Benji Olson, a sophomore first-team All-American with Johnson and Coates at the tackle spots. And the Huskies will open with a 3 wide out look now as the left-hander Huard has a look to his left. And on first down from the 35, Dillon. Not much off the left side. Maybe got 2. Colorado defensively. Greg Jones is a true sack master coming off that corner. Olson, Mau and Ziegler round out the front 4. Merkerson overlooked because Matt Russell's the Butkus winner, but he's a great player. Mike Phillips is the weak side linebacker. In the secondary, Steve Rosga led this team with 5 interceptions. He's the leader of the group with Wheeler, Black, and Simmons. Pickup of 3. Second down and 7 for the Huskies from their own 38-yard line. Dillon outside. Got the corner, ran over one man, and tightrope the sideline as he picked up 15. Wow. Dalton Simmons is straightening his headgear.
Yeah, Dalton Simmons meet Corey Dillon. But I'll tell you, Olin Kreutz found the middle linebacker. The big center, number 77, is going to be responsible for Matt Russell. And Kreutz, I got to just tell you, he's mean. The guy is just mean. He's the perfect prototype center with a tailback that just can run over people. 2 smallish corners for Colorado. That'll be a challenge if Dillon gets into the secondary.
Into Colorado territory. Already the Huskies at the 47-yard line of the Buffaloes. High backfield this time. Nice play fake. Huard fires it out. Pathan gives a little ground to gain some. Trying to get stretched out toward the sticks. And he is very close. In fact, might have it. This guy has got a nice arm, Gary.
Oh, he really does. I mean, there are some guys that things you can't teach a quarterback to do, and Brock has that ability to throw the ball accurately. He can put air under it. He can throw it hard when he has to. He's a 4.0 pre-med student, and they say that only 2 guys, I mean, he knows this offense better than anybody but the center. Now figure that one.
Yeah, and Kreutz, we already saw what he did to Russell once this game.
It's going to be spread them out and run the ball and play action pass and throw the ball. That'll be the game plan.
4 wideouts, second down and inches. They spread them out and they go up the middle, and I don't know if they got the first down. Dillon squirted out the backside of that pile. He did pick up the first. Hannibal Navies made the tackle. Corey Dillon just splashed on the scene this year. He wasn't a starter until the 4th game of the season, and look at the numbers.
Yeah, numbers for a player that was supposed to be behind Rashawn Sheehy, who got injured. That could have been a disaster, but Corey Dillon came onto this football team, and they became a much more physical football team, after the Notre Dame game. When they got spanked, they changed their style, and they became different and better.
First down at the 36-yard line of Colorado. Good-looking opening march. It followed a good opening kickoff by Washington. Here's a counter to Dillon, going the other way. Going to be dragged down by Merkerson, the outside linebacker.
Well, not a lot of teams have had success running the ball against Colorado's defense. Troy Davis has gotten 200 yards against the defense, but most teams had to earn a lot of yards. This is a guy right here, Bob Sapp, who's about as good as you got of coming out and pulling and running. He is very athletic, and all night he's going to be pulling around and trying to get Corey Dillon outside outside the tight ends and the linebackers.
Ryan Black's about 5'10", 190, and Bob Sapp just ran him over. Second down and 8. Play action. Wants to throw a screen and does to his tight end Cleland. And Cleland rumbles down to what might be another Husky first down. He got to the 26-yard line.
Well, when you talk about all the talent this football team has, you get a little bit fix on Huard and Corey Dillon, and they're great wide receivers. But Cameron Cleland is 6'4", close to 270 pounds, and he runs a 4.75 40. And, there's been some tight ends that caught a lot of balls here at Washington, and they believe this guy is next in line.
Well, they had Aaron Pierce, Mark Bruner, Ernie Conwell. All those guys are playing in the NFL. They're going to take a look at this one. Art Massey is our referee tonight. Art shows us that it's about the length of the football short. Long time for that guy around the Washington program, including as a player back in the early 60s.
Made his name and really changed college football by instituting that 8-man attack front. Everybody remembers when Washington won that national championship. They had just play after play of negative yardage, and he was the architect of that defense.
One of the most interesting coaching matchups that we might see is Lambright, and there's his counterpart, A.J. Kristoff, the defensive coordinator for Colorado. But, you know, in Lambright, you've got a guy that's coaching now against one of the hotshot offensive geniuses in Rick Neuheisel.
You know, a lot of things are different in college football. You might be going from a triple option to a 4-wide receiver. Not the, you know, the pro football is very much the same, but in college, these two guys epitomize how the differences in the game is.
That's right. 7th play of the drive, another short yardage situation, 3rd and inches for Washington. Big hole for Dillon. He might go. Bumped out at the 2. Rosga saved a touchdown.
This guy is 6'2", 225 pounds, and he is fast, 4'4" fast, and he has great vision for the hole. Brad, he reminds me of an Eddie George type running back. You can't take him on. He is not interested in bouncing the ball all over the place. If there's a hole there, he will attack it. And then once he gets into the secondary, he can run away from the corner. So what a package. And you know, the Pac-10 has seen him, and now the rest of the country is seeing him up close.
3rd in the country in rushing, 25 on the last one. And Washington's got it 1st and goal just outside the Colorado 2. Dillon again. Did he get there? Touchdown. He's already made his mark in the 1st quarter.
He really has, and that time Matt Russell kind of sliced into the backfield, and Dillon didn't dodge him. He just kind of leaned away from him and lowered his shoulders, so he didn't have a lot to attack, and took it to the end zone. No dancing from this guy. He doesn't run to daylight. He creates daylight.
Randy Jones for the extra point for Washington. Less than 3 minutes into the game. The Huskies take it 65 yards, and that guy did most of the damage. Corey Dillon, 24th touchdown of the year, has put Washington in front.
ESPN's presentation of the Plymouth Holiday Bowl is presented by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. And in part by San Diego. Call 1-800-701-WADE for a free visitor's planning guide.
We crossed those tracks last night into the Gaslamp District.
What a fun place to go, huh?
Boy, and it was wired last night with especially Husky fans decked in purple, and they've got something to cheer about. They lead 7-0 with 12:04 remaining 1st quarter. Matt Russell having a seat. The Huskies on the legs of Corey Dillon score on their opening drive. And this year, Colorado's last in the country in kickoff returns. They'd like to get some decent field position. It hasn't been easy for them.
A lot of ones, but when you string them together like that, that isn't
No, that didn't look good. John Wales to kick. That's London Hendry you were looking at. Stiggers is back there with him. High, short kick. That's might have to fair catch this baby.
That's hard to believe.
From the 22 and out to about the 27. Coy Detmer will bring out the Buffaloes offense. Herschel Troutman, over 800 yards, is their main man on the ground. Fisk is the fullback. Lepsis, Savoy, and Ray Caruth over 1,000 yards receiving. He's the favorite receiver of Detmer. Nioli's an All-American with Thomas, Reed, Smith, and Welsh up front. Coy Detmer, whose older brother Ty played his final college game in this very stadium, and Ty lost his last game. Coy says, I want to change what the family's done in this game. And he's going to have to wait another play. We've got flags already. Coy Detmer on the season over 3,100 yards passing, 22 touchdowns. Here's the call. Illegal procedure.
will put Detmer and the Buffaloes offense back to a 1st and 15. And there's his numbers, and he is one fiery quarterback, Gary.
I would say the word that best describes Koy Detmer is resourceful and willing to do anything to move the chains and to move his football team. He is absolutely fearless in the pocket, and sometimes to a fault. As we were talking to Rick yesterday, he said, if I had more opportunity to coach him and not as many responsibilities as a head coach, I think he could be even better.
Got 4 wideouts in there with him. He might be changing the play right here. A little bit of an option. Chapman got a block. And out to the original line of scrimmage, or very close to it, as John Fiala and Campbell combine on the tackle. Defensively for Washington, Tuiaea is a guy that plugs up the middle. He's the biggest man on the front with Richie Campbell and Chorick, who we've talked about already. Jerry Jensen will stay in every play. They don't go with a nickel back against this wideout, 4 wideout look of Colorado. Fiala and Aliaga round out the linebackers. Miller has 3 interceptions back there with Parrish, Burton, and Smith. Redshirt freshman cornerback starting this game for Washington. And this is a tight end, Matt Lepsis, coming back from an injury with the catch, and he might have a first down.
Matt Lepsis hurt his foot, toe, whatever you want to say. He's wearing a brace tonight. You won't see the real Matt Lepsis in this football game, but he's injured and he wants to play. You can see that on his left foot as it's taped up right there. Well, it could be both the way it's taped around. He is not full speed tonight, but good enough to go out there and catch the ball in those little zones and holes.
And good enough to get a first down. Quick snap, quick handoff. Troutman quickly goes down. He lost a yard. Washington physical and quick on defense.
Physical and quick and attacking with linebackers coming from every angle, and you can see what they do well when they win and what happens when they lose. Only the Notre Dame game and the Arizona State game did they not live up to that rushing defense, and they lost the ball.
Notre Dame had almost 400 yards. Arizona State had over 200, and thus the average of a little over 3. But when they're strong against the run, which they were there, they don't ever lose, as Gary said. Detmer sets, fires a little bit too low and outside, intended for Ray Carruth, who couldn't make the diving catch. Carruth didn't talk to the media all season until after the regular season was over in preparation for the Holiday Bowl. He talked to us yesterday, and they've moved him to a different position, quite frankly, for tonight, Garrett.
They've moved him outside. He usually lines up in the slot for Colorado. They're going to try to move him outside. Ray is very excited about that. He said there's more routes, more opportunities, less linebackers. That's a pretty nice equation.
I don't ever believe the 40 times on these kids, but we'll say that Ray Carruth is fast. Here comes a blitz. Detmer trying to stiff arm one man, throws out of desperation. Incomplete. And he got a lot of heat. Campbell was coming, so was Aliaga.
Well, you never really know which one of the 8 guys is going to make the play because they're all over the place. Campbell, Richie, Aliaga, Chorick, Fiala. They are linebackers, and they will come from different angles every time. And when we talked to the Washington people, they said, especially defensive coordinator Randy Hart told us, we're going after them. We think that's the way to beat them.
H to punt. Jarzinka back deep for Washington. Not a good kick. Fair catch called for. Jarzinka's trying to clear out his troops so nobody touches the ball. It does take a Colorado roll inside the Washington 25 with exactly 10 minutes remaining. First quarter, it's the Huskies leading by 7. 5 minutes in, Rick Neuheisel talking to his quarterback, who had to throw out of desperation with some heavy Washington pressure on him on that 3rd down. So now it's the Huskies back on offense. Just outside their own 24. Heward comes up throwing. Complete, very short gain. Nice hit by Steve Rosga out there on Janowski. Rosgo hit you, and he'll steal a few, too. He had 5 interceptions on the season.
Very outspoken football player. Was very upset that the All-American team didn't have any safeties on it, wasn't he?
He was 3rd-team All-American, and all the guys on the list in front of him were cornerbacks. And he says that's like saying there's 4 cornerbacks out there that are better than you are at your position. He wasn't too excited about it, but he's a good player.
I think he's got a great point, too. Different positions.
There's his numbers on the season. Stop Janowski, a 2-yard gain. 2nd down and 8, and Dillon hitting the backfield for the first time tonight. And it was Mike Phillips, the outside linebacker. And they have a little chat as they head back to their respective huddles.
I think the strategy and the game plan of this thing was set in the first drive. Olin Kreutz is going to be matched up with Matt Russell. This was real early. Watch him throw Russell down. Then he knees him, kicks him, big-time wrestling. And then near the goal line, he made a good block to get Corey Dillon in the end zone.
What you didn't see on that one replay is how they tapped each other on the helmet after they got all tangled up, showing the mutual respect they had for each other. You said if we don't see a fight between Kreutz and Russell tonight, we'll probably have a scoop.
A lot of respect for those guys. They like tough play.
Ewart throws a rocket complete. Might be short of a first down. Fred Coleman gathers it in and goes down immediately.
Good coverage, though, that time. The corners for Colorado are playing off Dalton Simmons, who took that big hit from Corey Dillon early. Got back a little bit on that one because he was playing off, squatted a bit, and took that throw, and he hit the receiver just as he caught the ball, and maybe he kept him short of the first down. Yes, he did, and probably will force a punt.
Second measurement of the night, same result, but this one, the length of the football shy. Maybe it won't force a kick. They had the punting team halfway to the hash mark, and then now they do bring them out. Well, they had a little indecision going on there. They still have indecision going on.
Well, I think Jim Lambright has decided what he's going to do right here. It looks like they will either try to draw Colorado off sides, but with that center and 2 guards and a 6'5" quarterback that's 225, why not a little quarterback sneak and pick up the 6 inches right here?
If they do go for it, it's a very early gamble that deep in your own territory, your own 34-yard line.
If John Makovic were calling plays, we'd still see a pass possibility. Right?
That's right. 3 tight ends. 4th and inches. They will try to pick it up, and Dillon gets it, but a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. There was a little bit of a flinch on the left side of the line that time. I think Tony Coates, or the tight end to the outside, flinched, and now Washington will be required to punt the football.
Now it's 4th and 5 yards and a foot. Here comes a punting unit.
I think it was number 67, Tony Coates, who just beat the snap, puckered just a bit to the outside. Here's the guy right here, and see if you don't see if he flinches just a bit. No. Boy, it didn't look like much there. I don't know if he lifted his hand from the other side, but we could not see it from behind that time.
You have to realize a pucker is not that much.
No, that's just a little bit, right?
Hamid Sarshar a punt. That's Steve Rosga back deep.
It's a very carefully chosen word. Just a pucker.
High kick. I mean, a mile in the air. Rosga waiting on it and takes near the 40-yard line. 33-yard kick. It went about 66 yards in the air, though. No return for Rosga. And Colorado with good field position to work from after we remind you that Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week will continue tomorrow at noon Eastern. It's a McDonald's Heritage Bowl. Howard will take on Southern from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Then it's Army against Damian Craig and the Auburn Tigers in the Bull and Weed Eater Independence Bowl. Army Cadets, the #1 rushing offense in the country. Check out both games tomorrow right here on ESPN. Wake up! Your team's up 7.
Seen it, done it.
Done it. 75th year they've been called the Huskies. Before that, they were the Sun Dodgers. Detmer, set to throw. Down the sideline, complete. Got it out there to James Kidd, and it got there in a hurry.
And he threw it right over the outstretched hand of Jerry Jensen that time, the outside linebacker. You can't throw it any better than that. You put just enough air under it that the linebacker has to jump, and not too much where the corner can make a play. Watch that throw right there. Just enough where he can make the play. That is as good as you can do it.
Yep.
It's like playing tennis. You know, you don't want to put it too high over the net there. Just a little net cord.
I just want to get it over the net. Kidd with a reception, a pickup of 17 to the 43-yard line. So Colorado's first trip into Washington territory. Quick snap because the Huskies jumped. Ball is loose. And Adam Reed, the center, snapped that to Detmer as it looked like the Huskies jumped into the neutral zone, and it should be 5 yards for Colorado, I would think.
Coy Detmer that time used a quick snap count that Washington for sure thought he was going to snap it on, but it was a dummy signal, and everybody started running across.
Offside, Huskies.
Offside penalty against the Huskies.
Here it is. A lot of shifting going on. Neutral zone that time. That was a good call, I think, for the outside. I think it was Chris Campbell, Jerry Jensen that were in the line that time.
The thing you would think that would help now is to keep them from getting that head start and maybe make them stay in their stance a little bit longer.
Well, a good quarterback and an experienced quarterback like Coy can really keep that defense off balance by changing the snap count.
So a 1st and 5, Colorado. Trotman up the middle. Herschel, strong for his size, got about 4. He's a little bit short of a 1st down as we check in with Adrian.
Brad, I can tell you, Jason Chark's got a powerful pair of lungs here. I can hear him going up and down the line saying to his defensive line, you guys think run first. Interesting strategy now, because what that does is open up the holes. If those guys stay at home, he can pick his holes inside, maybe a little bit outside, and get after Coy Detmer. Here's a little bit earlier, late rather, on that previous play. Wants his other guys to think run while he's thinking pass.
I love what the coaches say about Choring. They say ready, fire, aim. That's his approach.
It's getting better, though.
2nd down. Inside handoff to the fullback to the 29 is Fisk. And he's got a Buffalo 1st down at the 29. Not many rushes on the season, but Darren picks up the 1st down. They'll move the sticks.
Talking about that Washington defense, that attack defense, you know, 9 men near the line of scrimmage, bump and run outside. Jim Lambright designed this defense when he said, you know, with modern day offenses, you can't stand around and wait for a mistake. You got to force them.
Option if Detmer get the pitch. A bad pitch. Loose football. Washington says they have it, and they do.
Jason Chark just blew this play up before it got started. He might have been thinking pass rush on this play, but on the option play, he got into the backfield, and before Coy Detmer even had time to turn around, he put his helmet right into the chest of the guard that time, the pulling guard, Kyle Smith. Detmer tried to get it outside, but you could see the pitch was behind Herschel, and a turnover forced by the great All-American outside linebacker from the Huskies.
I can guarantee you that Detmer, if he had to do it over again, would eat that yardage, but you don't get that chance. And Washington takes over with a fumble recovery at its own 37-yard line. Hewitt sets. Wide open across the middle is Pathan. Nobody near it, and they still don't have him corralled. Down to the 40-yard line. Pickup of 23.
How calm is this guy for a freshman? I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of freshmen burst into college football, and this guy is the prettiest thrower I've seen in a long, long time. He's big, he's tall, and as Colorado comes in the middle, he can throw right over the top of the rush. Hewitt is 5 for 5 in this game, and he's hitting 4 different guys, and he is moving the ball around and forcing Colorado to cover the whole field.
Rick Neuheisel said yesterday, and he's one of those Washington quarterbacks who look like they're wearing a flak jacket when they really aren't. He's huge, 6'5", 220 plus. Counter to Dillon. This time, nothing doing. About a yard. Ryan Olsen wraps him up. It'll be 2nd down and 9. We've got 5:45 left first quarter. 7-0 Huskies after Colorado had a good thing going on offense until they fumbled on the option. Hewitt, a redshirt freshman.
Of course, his brother, Damon, played here before him.
2nd down and 9. Janowski in motion. Throw it outside, complete. Down to the 33-yard line. Got it over to Fred Coleman.
Scott Linehan is the guy on the left right here. That's the offensive coordinator hired by Jim Lambright to bring in an offense that could spread the field, an offense that Jim said I had the most trouble stopping, and then run the ball hard, and that's exactly what he's done this year. And he said, both of these guys said, we made a little bit of a mistake in misjudging the ability of Corey Dillon. He's better than we even thought.
But Scott Linehan said it only took a couple practices and we knew what we had. 3rd down. They swing it out to Dillon on the run. Down the sideline, first down. Bumped out or stepped out at the 24-yard line.
When you have a spread out offense, you have to be able to read the hot receiver and know where he's coming from. This time Brock Huard knew the uncovered guy that the line didn't have was right here coming from the outside. He read him, look at him turn to his right, gets rid of the ball right in stride, and a 225-pound tailback has the ball in the secondary for a first down.
To the 24-yard line.
Hannibal Nieves was the guy coming that time from the outside on block, but that's the quarterback's job to get rid of it.
You look at Matt Russell trying to control the middle, but the flanks, he can't be everywhere. First down at the 24. Dillon. And the hit by Ryan Olsen, the defensive tackle. Pickup of about 4.
Brad, just the little bit of passing that Washington has done has forced Colorado to play off. Look how much space they're getting here from their secondary. There's a free safety in the back right here, and that is meaning they're putting 4 defensive backs deep, and now Washington will see that and run the ball. So a good balance of run and pass has kept Colorado honest.
The wide out spread out now, and Coleman and Pathan and Janoski in the slot. Second down at 6. Looks like a pass coming up. Here it is. Slant. Delivered. First down. Fred Coleman had to go up in the air for a pass a little bit high. Steve Rosner gave him one in the ribs, but he held on to it.
It's the worst pass that's been thrown so far, and Fred Coleman came up with the catch. And you know, you don't see prettier passing than this. A guy coming right over the top with a delivery, and the pass rush really means nothing. In a way, kind of reminds me of Scott Mitchell with the Lions with the left-hand thing. Maybe actually a little better footwork than Scott Mitchell has right now. Of course, he hasn't faced the pass rush maybe that Mitchell has in the NFL.
Well, right now, Brock's perfect.
Yeah, 8 for 8 is perfect. I wish I had those numbers once in a while.
At the 13-yard line, first down Washington. Trying to take advantage of the turnover. Dillon, counter, got outside. Touchdown.
Bobby Sapp, the Pac-10 MVP offensive lineman, pulled around. He's got almost as much speed as Dillon. Dillon followed him right into the end zone. Watch Bobby Sapp, number 72, come around. He's got great speed. Now he'll fit inside on the line. Actually, it was a safety that time, and Dillon gets it into the end zone. Beautifully constructed drive.
There's the senior leader, Sapp. Randy Jones for the extra point. 3 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and the Huskies take advantage of a Colorado fumble. Taken down the field, and Dillon's got his second score of the night. The Huskies by 2 touchdowns. 63-yard drive engineered by those 2 guys, Huard and Dillon. Dillon capped it from 12 yards out. That followed the Colorado fumble. So the folks that are decked in purple and have been here all week are ecstatic by how the Huskies have performed here in the first 12 minutes. Another high short kick. Gonna have to hustle to get there. Live ball. Picked up at the 25, still loose.
Let's go back one more time, Brad, to that touchdown, and watch Bob Sapp. Right here he is, and right here is Dalton Simmons. Sapp is going to come around and block the corner on that play. That's what speed in the offensive line can give you on a touchdown play. But did Corey Dillon step out on the 1-yard line? Right about there, his left foot, I think, steps out.
Adrian, did he step out?
Darn right he did, guys. And I'll tell you, Fritz Grass, the line judge, was overruled by Jim Mahan. The linesman, he come up and said, no touchdown, no touchdown. He stepped out right along the line of scrimmage and saw it happen. So they got a good one there.
They got a break. They've got a 14-point lead. Colorado first down from its own 25. Trotman, he's going to be buried for about a 3-yard loss. Campbell is there, Aliaga is there.
And Dave Ritchie was there in the backfield, the inside defensive lineman that time, blowing this play up again before it got started. Ritchie in the backfield making a play, and right now the Colorado offensive line is not have not been able to handle the stunting and attacking style of the Husky front 8.
They just don't know where they're coming from.
No, and they peel with a different guy every time. You really don't know which one of the 8 is coming or not coming, might be a better way to say it.
Here they come after Detmer. He throws a long one for Carruth, and he's got it. Ray Carruth. Forget about it. Touchdown.
Well, that's one way to handle that stunt package. Throw it over the top. A fly route to your fastest guy matched up against a freshman. And I don't care if Jermaine Smith has played 700 snaps or not. He hasn't seen much like Ray Carruth running a fly route.
Second longest of Carruth's career. He had a 77-yard touchdown earlier this year. This one goes 76. And Colorado a point away from the 7th point of the ball game to cut this to a touchdown. Aldridge extra point is good. Ray Carruth. The long ball from Coy Detmer, and it's 14-7.
People have to understand on a deep ball, the quarterback and the wide receiver are running to a spot. When Detmer lets this ball go, he is aiming for a spot 45 yards down the field. This ball is almost thrown exactly right on the money, and Carruth almost Willie Mays it, catches it in the basket, and you're not going to catch Ray Carruth.
Jermaine Smith and Tony Parrish aren't slow, but this guy is in that 4-2, 4-3 category.
When you watch Colorado warm up before the game, Rick Neuheisel has always had his quarterbacks and receivers throw about 20 of these balls beforehand, and they do a good job of understanding and get a feel for where that ball is going, and that was as good as you could do.
Colorado record for career touchdowns. And when you consider some of the guys like Charles Johnson and Michael Westbrook and those guys that have played wide receiver at Colorado, that's pretty impressive.
And when you consider that Ray Carruth last year in the bowl game, the Cotton Bowl game, he only caught one pass, a very disappointing game for Ray Carruth. He was moved outside in this football game to try to match up against the freshman corners. Coy Detmer, Rick Neuheisel, Carl Dorrell, their outstanding young offensive coordinator, all were excited about that matchup. In fact, Ray Carruth said, I like their style of attack that Washington has. They're very bold, and there's a possibility of getting a lot of big plays.
He's got one there, 14-7. That's what you call a long drive in a hurry. It actually goes 75 yards, the drive that is, because remember Trotman had lost yardage on his first carry. So it's a 46-second scoring drive that covered 75 yards.
We talked about talent. There is some talent on this field.
Boy, is there ever. The kick out of the end zone. And Washington will start from its own 20. We take a look in on the Murph. Jack Murphy Stadium, our aerial shots high above San Diego, courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Tom Mattis, our pilot from Huntington Beach. On a beautiful night, a threat of rain today, but so far it's gorgeous.
Threat of rain in San Diego means it rains somewhere in the Midwest. I think you have to hear it on TV. You know, it never rains here. Huh?
It hangs a right-hand turn and keeps on going. Now the Buffs now on the scoreboard, trailing by 7. Dillon stopped. Very little gain, if any. And Terrell Cade made first contact, number 48, the sophomore out of right here in San Diego. And there's a lot of Colorado kids that are from California.
Oh yeah, fertile recruiting ground for both teams in this area of California. That's why I think why both schools were excited to be here.
There were a lot of members from this area whose moms and dads were busy hosting kids over the holidays.
Yeah. And I think Rick right there is saying, yeah, they're going to get some big plays against us, and we're going to get some big plays against them. Stay patient.
Second down at 10, Washington. Dillon spins. Got about 7. The hard way, I might add. Ryan Black finally put him down.
Bob Sapp that time. I don't know if he held or not, but I know one thing. The definition of a pancake is Bob Sapp. Watch it, boom, right on top of that time. Sean Jarney I think that was Aaron Marshall. You're right. The sophomore, 270-pound defensive tackle, and Marshall really saw the big fellow that time.
You were teasing Bob Sapp about how slow that track is at the NFL combines, weren't you?
Yeah, we got a little running bet going that he won't break 4.9, and he was almost laughing at me.
And then I told you they were bringing in the fast track, and your bet looks pretty weak now. Dillon, first down, spins out to the 35.
What's great about watching Corey Dillon run, very much the way Eddie George ran, is he's really, really patient and trusts his offensive line. Already 81 yards in this game, and he's not bouncing all over the football field to do it. He runs to the point of attack. He slithers in there. He explodes in there. He does whatever he has to run, and then he's a load to bring down. 81 yards against a very, very proud defense of Colorado, who frankly, Brad, were ready for number 4.
Yep. Well, they're getting all of them they want. He's already got 2 touchdowns, and he's just emptied out of the Husky backfield. Heward to throw. Complete to the 40. First down, flag down. I don't want to say there was a pick play out there, but boy, they sure did it beautifully. First down for Coleman.
There really wasn't that time any pick. I don't know if they were in a legal formation or not. That might have been the problem, but I think this was an audible by Brock Heward that time. He had Rosga over the slot, and he audibled to the quick out.
Offensive pass interference on Pathan. That's what I thought I saw. I guess not a pick, but he sure got a nice bump out there to give that guy 5 yards with nobody around him.
Well, there was nobody really lined up on him, I didn't think, unless I was walking to the other side of the line of scrimmage. I mean, look, he's got a lot of space out here. I don't know where the call came from.
It's right there. Well, it's on Pathan.
Oh, up at the top of the screen. It had nothing to do with it. I think the corner was just closing when he saw the ball thrown, and that ball was already in the air that time, Damon Wheeler. I think that's a rough call right there. That had nothing to do with it. The ball was in the air.
Offensive pass interference. 15 yards. Repeat first down.
That's a big one. That'll back the Huskies up to their own 20. Pathan was the guy that got out there that made contact. That's who the penalty was called on.
Damon Wheeler is usually a bump and run type cornerback, a very quick corner, but he is not getting up in Pathan's face because they really respect his ability to run the fade.
Dillon. And his first down carry only netted a couple of yards. Rosga came up and forced things. So did Mau from the defensive line. And it's going to be second down and very long yardage, but that's going to have to wait for the second quarter. We played one in San Diego, and the Huskies lead the Buffaloes by 7. Set to start the second quarter. Washington leading Colorado 14-7. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Adrian Karsten with you from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. This kid's perfect so far. Brock Heward hasn't missed a pass yet. And he'll pass to start the second quarter. Screen goes over complete to Mike Reed. Reed got across and a flag late. Reed got out to the 27 and then got tattooed out of bounds. Oops.
Right at the end of that play, Nieves did the hit that was a little bit outside the line.
So that'll tack on to a good game. Personal foul against the Buffaloes.
Screen call, trying to get the ball outside a big pass rush situation, dump it out, keep the play moving, and that was if there was ever a 15-yard penalty, that was it.
You know, Navy's kind of looked down as if to say, do I have any chalk left here? And then he gave him the chalk with his headgear, and he's going to stay over there on the Colorado sideline.
Well, that was a big first down. I mean, they had him way back, and now they have ability to move the chains again with another first down, and it keeps Corey Detmer off the field.
First down at the 42-yard line. Colorado thinking blitz. Here they come. Heward in trouble. Down he goes. Jarney made the force, then got help from his friends.
Sean Jarney, a true freshman that time, getting into the backfield as Huskies trying to go deep. They've been picking and picking. That was a busted assignment that time. Just turned them loose. Huard did not throw the ball up and make any big mistake. Coming right up the middle that time. As to the outside, I think Benji Olsen tried to block Matt Russell and just turned his defensive tackle right into the cornerback.
Jarney turned and Russell finished it. And a 2nd down and 18 now. Tight end in motion. Dillon goes back that way behind his blockers. Got the corner. Tiptoed out of bounds across the 40.
Can you be a fast Eddie George?
Man, he is quick, isn't he?
He really is. I really didn't know he had this type of speed. You know, you don't get to see a lot of Washington highlights when you're living in the East and you're doing Big Ten football, I guess. This guy's the best kept secret in college football as far as I'm concerned.
Rashad Salam, who won a Heisman with Colorado, is here on the sideline tonight. We talked to him over at the hotel today.
Yeah, he said, I'm just trying to get more snaps.
Yep, got to stay healthy, too. When the injury bug wasn't with him, he did a good job again this year after a 1,000-yard-plus rookie campaign last year with Chicago. 3rd down and long. Huard pressured again. Straight up the middle goes the big fella. But he goes down just as he crossed the 50, and he's about 1.5 yards short. And he is upset with himself.
He misjudged it. He thought he was across the 50. He thought he had picked up the 1st down that time, and he took a knee on the play, and he misjudged his 1st down marker, and he's going to force his team to punt. But you saw his strength on that play. And this is just not a lumbering football player. He's got good speed. A.J. Kristoff says there's a lot of plays they designed just as a run for him. But remember, there is not an experienced backup quarterback on this team, so I'm sure he has been schooled to be careful.
Sarshar, first kick was short and high. He'd like to do that again.
Well, he did it.
Definitely short, not quite as high, and it takes a Colorado bounce into a Washington player out near the 27-yard line. That's where the Buffaloes will go back to work. A couple of big college basketball games coming up tomorrow over on ESPN2 at 4:30 Eastern. Wow, unbeaten Louisville coming off a double overtime win against once beaten and 3rd-ranked Kentucky. Ron Mercer and company invading Freedom Hall in Louisville. Then at 9:30 on ESPN. What a way to sort of bring in the new year, huh? Tim Duncan and Keith Van Horn. Wake Forest in Utah, number 2 against number 7. That's at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. At the 27-yard line, the Colorado fans now have something to cheer about. They trail by only a touchdown, and their offense has the ball back. And the last time they had it, they went downtown. Detmer to Caruth for 76 yards. Play action. Detmer fires out in the flat. Good move to get out to what looks like a 1st down to Shiverini.
Shiverini is playing Ray Caruth's spot in this football game because of about an 80% healthy James Kidd in this football game, moving Caruth outside and Shiverini in Caruth's spot. So, and what did Ray Caruth tell him?
Yeah, Ray said, I can play that outside spot as long as Darren does his job in the slot, and he better do it.
It's right. I've been coaching him all game, so I can stay out wide.
Right now, he's over there wide with his head coach. 1st down, Colorado at the 38-yard line. Detmer changing things up. Draw play, Lyndon Henry, and it netted nothing. John Fiala stayed home, the middle linebacker, to make the hit. He missed a couple of games in the middle of the season after being injured against Notre Dame, but he's the leading tackler on this defense.
Colorado has a real interesting way that they share the coordinating and calling of the plays on this football team. Rick Neuheisel makes the 3rd down calls, but Carl Durrell, the guy on the right there, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays on 1st and 2nd down, and they are in sync because they were wide receiver and quarterback together at UCLA.
They were in sync there and still are. 2nd down and 12. Detmer backpedals and fires, incomplete. Intended for Kidd. Nice coverage by Jermaine Smith, a redshirt freshman.
Well, interesting with the redshirt freshman corners for Washington. Those were the two guys that had to come through on this football team to be good. Mel Miller and Jermaine Smith, two freshmen that had to play outside because, frankly, with this team being on probation and not having a lot of scholarship, there was no one else to play. And they have come through and grown with this football team as the season has gone on.
Depending on which coaching staff you talk to, a different train of thought about whether they're freshmen or not. We're in the 12th game of the season right now, so they've been schooled. Here's a long ball again. Diving attempt by Kidd. He couldn't quite handle it. Detmer got hit as he threw.
Absolutely. Wiggs that time put his helmet right into Detmer, and Detmer picked out a spot, anticipated the throw. Watch Wiggs, number 67, come inside, and whoa, what a hit. You can't make a living doing that all night.
Suki Wiggs. And on the other end, James Kidd almost made an acrobatic catch.
And you wonder if James Kidd, if he's 90%, if he'd been 100%, could he even run right into that one and made another touchdown?
Good point. Punt. High hanger. Taken. No fair catch.
Boy,
and a penalty marker down.
No, he didn't have 2 yards on that play at all. And they're going to get called for a 5-yard penalty, Colorado is.
It's an interesting thing. You and I were talking about this penalty for the people that don't call fair catch. You still got to give them the 6 feet, 2-yard rule. So, you know, unless you don't want to get your head taken off, you have 2 different options there. You can fair catch or just take your best shot. Colorado's best shot was a little bit too early.
And it was definitely within the 2-yard circle that they had to give that time. I think it was Rashadi Barnes that time, and boy, you can get hurt real quick that time when you're not fair catching. But hey, that's the game, I guess. When you don't get in a lot and play a lot, you got to do something.
Washington will have it back on offense with a touchdown lead when we come back.
ESPN's presentation of the Plymouth Holiday Bowl is presented by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. And in part by San Diego. Call 1-800-701-WADE for a free visitor's planning guide.
Well played, Plymouth Holiday Bowl so far. Washington leading Colorado by a touchdown with 11:48 left first half, and the Huskies have it back.
Well,
it's low in cholesterol, isn't it?
Yes.
I think.
We did that last night, didn't we?
Corey Dillon on a counter. He got about 2. Greg Jones made the tackle, a little shoving after the play.
Greg Jones did an excellent job that time of taking that play on with his inside shoulder, staying upfield in case it bounced outside, blocked by Tony Coates. And Jones, who is kind of took a lot of pressure in his game. Everybody thinking he was a big sack guy, and he said he's ready to turn it on tonight. I was talking to people, and Jones said, I'm ready to have my best football game tonight.
Not just a great athlete, huh? A triple jump champion in high school. At 6'4", 245, he can jump over you, around you. That time he made the play after a pickup of 2. Here comes a Colorado blitz. Heward steps in, has it batted and intercepted. Picked off by Nick Ziegler. He's going to go.
I think Ziegler tipped it and caught it that time. For the turnover, the touchdown, what a play from the outside.
Nick Ziegler, the sophomore, another California native out of Huntington Beach, and he found the beach, the end zone here, to tie this thing up.
Yeah, he knocked it down with his right hand, then he caught it, and he knew he was going to score as soon as he got it. He takes it in the end zone, and he took the Nestea plunge for the touchdown, too. 2 big plays for Colorado, and that's what they thought could win this game. I don't know if they thought they'd get him on defense, though.
Aldridge for the point after. We're tied. First interception thrown by Brock Heward in his last 95 tosses. But this one played beautifully by Nick Ziegler. And he takes, as Gary says, the big plunge in the end zone. We're all tied up. Nick Ziegler, 31 yards for a touchdown. They were talking with us, the coaches, about him. They said he's a wild horse rider, he's a surfer, a volleyball player. And A.J. Kristoff says, quite frankly, he's just a beauty. Well, that was a beautiful play he just made. There's the guy that has his own fan club. Jarzinka back there. with Pathan. Pathan takes it. Pathan's got an alley. Pathan might go down the sideline. Touchdown, Washington.
Ho-hum, another Holiday Bowl, huh?
Yep, just another Monday night in San Diego.
I'll tell you something that's even harder to believe than this. That's a Canadian running right there. Pathan, the wide receiver, grew up in Canada, played ball in Canada, then transferred to Washington.
You ever think he did that at Arcadia College in Nova Scotia?
Well, I tell you, it isn't even fair to be able to do that up in Canada.
Wow.
But this time, and I tell you, Jarzinga got a key block in that return also to spring him on the play.
One play after Colorado tied it. Pathan is untied it. Jones, extra point is good. 10 minutes, 49 seconds remaining in the first half. As Gary said, grew up in Canada, born in Cape Town, South Africa, and he takes this one the distance.
Jarzinga got a block on the outside this time, just enough. He shielded one guy and then got in the way of another, and then Pathan just outruns James Kidd. Jarzinga on the bottom right here gets one block, and then he'll fall back out to get another block, and then Pathan is just going to outrun a guy who's pretty fast. That's James Kidd right there, and Pathan says, I got you. That was this typical Holiday Bowl. This guy had a little bit of a go back and get a sandwich at halftime.
That's right. A little bit tired, but a happy tired.
There are players all over this football field. That's all I can tell you. I've seen a lot of games with a lot of talent, but I don't know if I've seen this much talent on one football field in a long time.
From Nick Ziegler, a touchdown on the interception. And that was this play. Nick picks it off, tipped it, takes it in for the touchdown, and the ST plunge. That made it 14-14. And then it was Pathan taking it 86 yards the other way on the ensuing kickoff.
Jarzinga ended up getting the kicker that time to absolutely clear it, and then Pathan just runs the sprint. That's the first kickoff return for Washington since 1979.
Wow. Takes it back a while. Wales set to kick. You walk out of this game just to get a hot dog or something, you could miss, you know, 2 touchdowns.
We don't lead.
No, we don't lead.
We don't lead.
Fumbled at the 5 by Nunez. Picks it up, trying to scramble for some yardage, and he's going to go down at the 5.
I guess that's why they're 111th out of 111 teams on the kickoff. They earned it.
That's a good point, and a flag at the end of the play to boot.
I think it might have been a face mask at the end.
And that will help get Colorado a little bit out of the hole they're in. Officials will have a little conference, and Art Massey will tell us personal foul, face mask against the Huskies. Jesse Bailey might have been the guy. We'll take another look.
Boink, right off the
cage of his face
that time. And then he goes, uh-oh, this ain't gonna work.
There it is. And they call him for 15 on that one. I think he needs a prescription visor on that helmet, Gary, after the way he tried to field that kick. The depth perception was a little off.
Oh, boy.
And Binkley got his hand in there. So Colorado with some room to work now, trailing by a touchdown from the 21-yard line. Lendon Henry, single setback, but it's Detmer wanting to throw. Flags down. Oh, Detmer got hammered and got it to Henry. Out to the 42-yard line, but again, flags all over the field.
Ink Aliaga that time put one on Detmer, and Detmer's just going to keep getting up. This guy, he plays a ferocious quarterback. He's not as big as he thinks he is.
That's true.
That right now.
Offside call against the Huskies will be declined. Detmer, like his brother Ty, who used to seem like bleed through every fourth quarter he ever played. And here's the lick he takes at the end of this one.
Nothing needs to be said here. You want to play quarterback? Watch this one. Oh,
wow.
Ink Aliaga goes about 230, and he was running a 4.6 right through Koy Detmer that time.
Did you notice Koy never took his eye off where that ball was going, though?
He's incredible, the ability he has to compete in the toughness he has. He is a sure bet NFL quarterback. I don't care how big he is. His brother showed you can play. Size means nothing for a Detmer.
There's his backup, John Hessler. First down.
The comeback kid.
At the 43-yard line, Colorado. Detmer stands in too long. Jerry Jensen blasts him this time. First sack of the night. Jensen, who moved from middle linebacker to the outside, took him a few games to get comfortable. Looked pretty comfortable there.
Yeah, and this was a great move. Coming from the right side of the screen, Jensen is going to get inside and just tosses away Melvin Thomas that time, the tackle. And Koy Detmer just held on that ball just a bit too long. And Washington's going to get you when you do that. It's going to be one of those guys. And, you know, Jensen really showed a lot, be willing to move that time for this football team, moving outside.
That's right. Really unselfish. That's her 47th sack. That's best in the Pac-10.
And both teams move up at the same time when something like that happens.
Henry out to about the 39. Got a couple.
Yeah, you know, I think that handoff right there, you know, you say, why do you call a 2nd and 20 right up the middle? I think Koy Detmer needed a blow, tell you the truth. Back-to-back hits he took from the two linebackers. Detmer, he just needed to gather himself and just take a play off, because you could make a big turnover. And right now, Colorado says, hey, if we have to punt, we have to punt.
They need him more on the 3rd and 14 than they might have needed him there.
Again, now third down calls will come from Rick Neuheisel, and we should say suggestions, because that's what Rick said. The calls are just suggestions.
He said Koy might change him 50% of the time as long as he makes the right change. Here's Detmer running for his life.
Oh, he's got
Throws long's got a man out there who waits on it and makes the catch. Chiaverini somehow got free. Nobody back there to help. 39 yards on a 3rd and 14.
Now, how do you do that? Koy Detmer has just took two linebackers on and has just gotten beaten up. Now the rush comes from Jerry Jensen from one side. He dodges out of it. Chris Campbell from the other. Then he looks deep, and he takes another one from Jensen. But Chiaverini gets the ball, and they move it with a huge play. That is a tough quarterback.
This one hung up there as long as a seagull by the shore, but
it didn't matter, really. He was so open. I think Nigel Burton that time just lost his man watching the linebackers hit on him.
First down, Colorado, trailing by a touchdown.
Is this fun?
So far, it's great.
Here they come again.
Gonna throw out for Carruth.
That's an interference, isn't it? Has to be.
At the goal line.
It is called from the back judge. Mel Miller, the corner that time, says, I don't like the looks of this. I'm grabbing a hold and taking a 15-yard penalty. I think it's very difficult to play man-to-man coverage when you're off 10 yards. The NFL has found that that just doesn't work. That's why so many corners move up and do bump and run. Because when you got a guy coming at you like Carruth running a 4.2 40, what are you going to do? This ball is just thrown to a spot to the outside of the field, and you'll see Miller. He'll says, uh-oh, I don't like it, and he overruns the play, and he grabbed him actually with his left hand.
It's a good penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that ball would have been caught, I think, by Carruth.
I do too. It hit him the way it was.
Yep.
So they walk off the penalty.
They had him by the face mask. If you're going to get him good, right?
That's right. Get all you can. It is 1st and goal, though, Colorado. 8:33 left in the half. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Adrian Karsten with you at Jack Murphy Stadium.
How about that third down call by the head coach? I think that was more Koy, don't you think? Just running out of there and making that toss for the first down, and then they come back on first down and throw it again. And again, he says when he calls plays, they're just suggestions. So, Koy, you do what you want afterwards.
One of those times when creativity pays off.
Yes.
Rick Neuheisel said sometimes Koy tries to create when he doesn't have to. And at times that his strength can be his weakness. So far, it's been his strength on this drive. Trying to create again. And does. Touchdown.
What a way to to finish a career for Koy Detmer. Being able to go against a blitzing man-to-man defense, knowing you're going to be able to throw the ball around. You're going to take a few hits, yes, but you're going to be able to throw it and have a huge night. And so far, he's right on track. He is ferocious as a quarterback. They were trying to pick outside that time. It did not work. And now,
creativity.
Throw it up, and the Chevy man just gets it. Gets his first 2 feet down. Little Chevy in the corner.
Right down the middle on the extra point to tie it up. 8:26. And the coach's reaction. Yeah, we'll take it. Touchdown. Tied at 21. Coach and quarterback confer on the sideline. Detmer just threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Shiverini.
Look at this jersey stuck out there by Detmer right there. I mean, he's going to start a new trend in Colorado. He just wants to play.
He's the football equivalent of a gym rat.
Yeah, exactly. And how about yesterday we went to see him and talked to him about the football game. His brother is playing his first playoff game, and he walks in there. The game is over. He's been on the golf course all day.
Yeah, we said, hey, Ty got hurt. And he goes, oh, really?
Oh, really?
I shot a 78.
Yeah, shot a 78. He was a beauty, wasn't he? He and Matt Russell at the same time. Was that at the light?
The kick. Jarzinka backpedals to the 2. Straight up the field he comes to the 25, and that's where Washington will work with their offense now. Ty Detmer, the starting quarterback for the Eagles, who did suffer an injury in that shutout loss yesterday, but here he was 5 years ago, the Holiday Bowl, setting up, going long, this touchdown for BYU, but that wasn't the way it was going to end. It was going to end on a sad note. Final seconds of the ball game, tipped and picked off. So the final pass that Ty threw in his college career in a bowl game was an interception, even though he threw for 350 and 2.
Really interesting that Ty had a lot to do with why Koy is at Colorado. We'll get back to it in a second.
Here's Dillon, and Dillon goes for a quick 6.
Ty, after that Holiday Bowl, went out to the Hula Bowl and played for Bill McCartney. And the two were chatting about a young brother that was coming up. And Bill was so enthralled with the ability of Ty, he said, I'll take Koy right now, sight on scene.
And Koy said also he had always planned to go to BYU and follow his brother, but he said they had just signed John Walsh. Right. And he said, I didn't feel like redshirt and then sitting behind him. I wanted to play. Yeah, and he played behind Cordell Stewart.
He came up here and found Cordell, but you know, he started as a freshman. I saw him play against Nebraska. He got beat up in that game too.
And just like that game, kept getting up every time he got hit. Here's Dillon. Dillon behind his blockers. Cuts back inside and gets all the way out near the 45-yard line. Steve Rosga finally brings him down, but it's 14 more for Corey Dillon behind Bob Sapp.
I tell you, I just can't keep my eyes off Bob Sapp. He runs like a running back when he pulls. He's 290 pounds. And in the secondary, he finds somebody, and he'll shove you like 10 yards. Coming around, oh, he's got the corner again. He gets Dalton Simmons. Oh, man, right out of the picture, and then he's going to find somebody else. And I'll tell you, he's just going to be a guy you want to follow.
Dillon over 100 yards for the 9th time this year, and we're still in the first half. 21-21. Dillon again. Only about a yard this time.
Remember, the last pass thrown by Brock Huard was a while ago, and it was intercepted for a touchdown.
Ryan Black made the tackle. He's the leading tackler on this team. Ryan Black from his safety position, a junior out of Phoenix, Arizona, only about 5'10" if he's lucky, and 190 pounds. He'll stick his nose in there, though.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that's half safety, half linebacker, coming up, moving, being that 8th guy in the box, and he'll blitz from that spot. And he's just a walk-on, too. That's really hard to believe.
Second team all Big 12. Mike Reed checks in to give Dillon a breather. 2nd down and 9 for Washington. On a blitz, Huard, quick drop, and the slant incomplete. Intended for Pathan. And it will be 3rd down and long, which we haven't seen Washington be forced to be into too many times in this ball game.
Tried to get the slant the outside that time to Pathan, but I think they'd have been better off just throwing the hitch. You can see the matchup right here. Look at all the space. Just go down 5 yards and stop. It's a lot easier to complete a hitch than it is a slant. Just a bit off. The ball's thrown hard. It's a tough catch. I think they could have gimmies out there and really force Colorado to move up that coverage.
There's the 3rd down conversions on the night, and too much time taken in trying to decide what they wanted to do offensively. Jim Lambright will have a chance to talk things over with his quarterback. We've got a timeout with 6:37 remaining first half. Yeah, they're working on it on the sideline.
That's the Jim Rad Corey Detmer with Terry Lewis, the offensive line coach. One of the responsibilities that Rick Neuheisel said Corey has is getting his offensive line in the right protection. So the offensive line coach and the quarterback are on the sideline, making sure he sends the center and the linemen and the running back to the proper sides of where the pressure's coming from.
3rd down and 9. Washington after the timeout. Here comes a blitz from Colorado. Heward completed it, but covered nicely by Rozga on the back end to knock Janoski down short of the first down.
Greg Jones that time came from one side, and Ryan Black, who we just talked about before, came from the other, and that's the pressure from the outside that A.J. Kristoff uses. You see, coming from the middle of the screen right there, there's Black. He runs right by the running back that time, and Heward could do nothing but just dump the ball off.
Punting situation coming up. Jeff Prince now to kick this time. Rozga, the man that made the hit, is back. Punt return formation.
Well, this is his best punt of the day.
Rozga waits on it, takes it from the 12, and gets about 6 out to the 18 with 5:48 remaining in the half. We're all tied at 21-21. Coming up Thursday, January 2nd. Get ready for the national championship game. You can check out an encore presentation of Florida State won the first meeting. Just how hard did the Seminoles really hit Danny Wuerffel? You can decide for yourself on ESPN2's rebroadcast of the game. It starts at 3 o'clock Eastern. And stay tuned afterwards for full pregame coverage on SportsCenter. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit are on hand in New Orleans for final analysis and previews right up to the game time of the Nokia Sugar Bowl. First down, Colorado, having tied it up on their last possession. They work from their own 18-yard line.
Colorado with 2 tight ends, a lot of boots off of this.
And Henry goes down, actually lost a yard. Bumped into his own man and also bumped into Lester Towns, the linebacker.
I think, Brad, both teams right now are feeling good and feeling bad at the same time. Colorado says, if we can only protect them, I know we can get guys open and throw the ball. Washington defensively saying, I know we can get to them, but if we don't, we pay real bad.
We can't cover. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword right now.
You bet, and nobody's going to back off.
Second down along 11 with 5:11 left, second quarter. Detmer steps up, going long, misread with his receiver though. Ray Caruth.
Caruth gave up on the route that time. He got plenty of space by Mel Miller, and they were trying to go deep, and Caruth didn't believe in it, and they're very fortunate that Miller wasn't a couple yards deeper.
That's right.
That used to get me very upset when I was throwing. We had a deep pass called. I expected my receiver to run the route out, and if he had to, knock the ball down.
Caruth has one long touchdown tonight.
Remember, we thought when we saw the long touchdown pass, Coy is going to throw that ball before Caruth gets 18 yards deep, so he can't read anything on the outside. That ball's, he tried to keep the free safety in the middle of the field and throw the ball 5 yards from the line, from the outside, out of bounds line.
Colorado, no rushing game at all. They've done it all in the air. Here they come to the air again. Screen pass. Henry waited on it and then tripped. But he got a first down anyway. Slipped on his own, or he's mad about that. He might have been off to the races, but he did pick up yardage out to the 30-yard line.
Really interesting play this time on coming out of the play. Was a design kind of fake to the wide receiver, Ray Caruth, on one of those breakout screens. Washington bid on that, and they just slid the back out to the outside.
Dial it to first down, just outside the 30. 4:45 remaining in the half. This has been another Plymouth Holiday Bowl beauty here through 2 quarters. Detmer, deep sideline overshot kid as intended receiver. And Corey's got to pick himself off his backside again.
J.C. Chork is the guy that's coming, and you got to handle him once in a while. This time, Detmer had time to throw, but Washington backed off into his zone. Left side of the screen, Andrew Welsh is going to be the guy that just pins Chork and then puts his hands up.
And then Tui Aiea is the guy that levels Detmer.
Well, someone's going to level him every time, but there's going to be no body punch that ever slows this guy down. I don't care if this goes 15 rounds or not, he's going to keep playing.
Quick slant, complete. Wow. Out to the 46-yard line. Chris Anderson's first catch of the night's good for a first down.
And is Chris Anderson, Alvo, happy to get a football? Because he had a tough game against Nebraska. It was quite a while ago now, and they come back to him on the slant, and the ball is in the air before Anderson even turns around and looks.
Ooh, was that right where it had to be, or what?
Right on the numbers, and that was halfway there before Anderson even turned around.
Out to the 47-yard line.
Again, wide receivers all over the field, but Washington only has 4 defensive backs in the game.
2 touchdowns and over 200 yards for Detmer in the first half. Coy throws over the middle, and what a catch by Shiverini. Shiverini has a touchdown catch tonight, but it wasn't as pretty as that one.
Watch Ray Caruth. I bet Ray Caruth comes over and says, nice job. I like that one.
Yeah, I can stay outside. You can stay in the slot all day. Here's Shiverini with a fingertip grab.
Yeah, Detmer threw this one hard in between the jumping guys. He caught the back end of the ball that time for a real nice play.
Shortest completion of the night. Only picked up 6 yards, but a pretty play nonetheless. 2nd down and 4. 3.5 to play in the quarter. Blitz coming from the corner.
Changing the subjective play that time also.
Yep. So much for that suggestion. So much for the change. Henry loses a yard. Fiala, the inside linebacker.
I know exactly what Coy is talking about on suggestions. It was a little bit different for me. I used to come after the bench after changing a play, and the coach would tell me, I suggest you call the play I run, or you can take a seat next to me. A little different suggestion,
right.
though, you know.
There are suggestion boxes, and then there are suggestion boxes.
Right.
3rd down. Here's what Coy's done on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 6. Slant to Caruth. First down to the 41.
Well, we thought Caruth was really going to be a pressure point in this football game. A guy that only caught 1 pass in the Cotton Bowl a year ago. They moved him outside. He's looking for a big game, and they really felt good about the matchup, and Caruth has come through.
One of the 3 finalists for the Bolitnikoff Award. They actually spotted this. It's still a first down, but they didn't give him the forward progress down to the 41, which was actually where he made the catch. They let it go back to just tucked inside the 43-yard line with 2:25 remaining in a tie ball game.
The short passing game is keeping Washington off balance with their blitzes.
They do have to back out of it again. Detmer, the out to Caruth. Got another catch. Mel Miller.
Was this fun to watch? This is like going to the park or the schoolyard watching some guys play flag football.
Go down to the oak tree and hang a right.
That's exactly right. You know, they throw the slant one time, and now they come back and throw the out. I don't, you know, you could say all you want about a young corner. You know, he's a freshman, but he's experienced now because he's played a lot. He's still a freshman, and they love that senior freshman matchup out to the outside, and you got a senior guy throwing strikes right now.
We've got a timeout taken by the Huskies to try to regroup and hopefully, in their case, prevent any more points going up on the Colorado side of the scoreboard. With 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first half. We're tied at 21, but the Buffaloes will try to change that when we come back. Looking in on Jack Murphy Stadium, a tie game. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle providing us with our aerial shots. Goodyear Blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year covering major sporting events. That's just like you and I.
We do it, don't we? If there's a blimp, it's a good game.
Yep, and this
tonight
is a good game.
Tonight we got a good game.
First down, Colorado. They've got their full complement of timeouts as well as they work at the Washington 28-yard line. 3 wideouts for Detmer. Detmer steps up, rifles it down to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, it was either intercepted or incomplete, one of the two, but I know Kid that time bobbled that ball. That was good protection that time by that Colorado offensive line. Adam Reed, Nioli, Kyle Smith pushed that pass rush around Detmer. That's the first time he had the ability to step into a throw all night tonight. Those short passes, when you complete them, really slows down that pass rush. It forces people to do different things.
Kyle Roberts comes in the nickel defense. The 11th play of the drive coming up for Colorado.
You can see the respect. Kyle Roberts, they don't play much nickel in Washington. He's kind of like the Buffalo nickel tonight.
4 wideouts. Detmer throws short. London Henry takes it out at about the 26-yard line. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 8.
You know, talking to Rick about his passing game at Colorado, Koy Detmer threw for 400 yards in back-to-back games late in the season against Missouri and Iowa State. But then the last 2 games, Kansas State and Nebraska, very bad weather, where he couldn't really throw this type of a game plan. And we said, do you have to change? And he said, well, I don't know. They throw pretty well in Green Bay at the end of the year. So I don't think he's going to really shelve this passing game. I don't care what they do.
I don't think you've ever seen a staff probably more happy that the scheduled rain we were forecast for didn't arrive today. 3rd down and 8. Detmer. Shiverini, the intended receiver, but Jermaine Smith was right there with it.
And at that time, good coverage in the secondary, but I thought he could have thrown the ball deep to a different guy and maybe made something go. I thought Phil Savoy was open on the post that time, and you know, all that pressure, you have to make quick decisions, and that time Koy made a quick decision to the wrong guy.
Jeremy Aldridge hasn't missed a field goal yet this year, as they have used 2 field goal kickers. There's his 4 for 4 numbers. Steve Rozga to hold. This will be a 43-yard field goal attempt to try to break a 21 deadlock.
Wouldn't be surprised with anything here if that happens.
They will kick it, and it will make it.
Holy cow.
Not by much. 43-yard field goal. Jeremy Aldridge still hasn't missed this year. 5 for 5, and he gives his team the lead for the first time tonight.
Ball didn't have a lot of height on it, but maybe he just measured it out just perfectly and just kind of almost skimmed our camera right there, right in there for 3 points. So a lot of points in the first half of this game, 24-21. Now, usually this bowl used to have a WAC team. Tonight, no WAC team, but we got a WAC game.
We sure do. Let's check in with Adrian.
Thanks very much. I'm with Nick Verna, who's with the Chrysler Corporation in charge of the entire Southern California region. Nick, Brad, Gary, and I came to the stadium today saying this could be one of the best football games we've seen all year, certainly the best Holiday Bowl, and it's coming out that way.
This is the best Holiday Bowl in the last 18 years, and Plymouth and Chrysler Corporation is very proud to be here. And just stick around for the second half. It's going to be a great one.
San Diego is a town that has a lot to do besides going to college football games, but it's packed tonight, Nick, to see this game.
We couldn't be happier that the Merv's packed, and we couldn't be happier that the sellout crowd. Plymouth is just, you know, happy that they're here, and we're going to be here again next year. And I think that Plymouth and Chrysler Corporation are very happy with San Diego and its community.
Well, Nick, let's tell Brad and Gary, I get the Plymouth Prowler here, guys.
No
it's
way.
in Northwestern purple, too. Look at this. Give me the keys.
I was just going to jump in there and say, Nick's going to let me drive that baby.
Plenty of legroom, too, guys.
I knew that's where you go. We're going with that one.
Jarzinka takes it across the 35. They had the Prowler out here on the field before the game, and come on, Karsten.
That doesn't fit.
No, you can't get in there. You're too big. There you go. That looks good. That looks good on you.
And I'll tell you, that would look good on anybody, wouldn't it?
Boy, I tell you what. And that thing couldn't have gotten more shiny. We were looking at it before the game. Out at the 36-yard line.
Now, this is a time of the game for Washington. A 2-minute offense doesn't really fit in this type of a game for Washington. Maybe early in the year, but now they've kind of reverted back to a running game. A big mistake could hurt him there. I'd like to see him run out the half or at least cross the 50.
They're going to try draw play. Good call. That's what they're thinking. But Matt Russell's thinking Corey Dillon. Hit him for a yard loss. Russell, the Butkus Award winner, as engaging a personality and maybe a throwback type of guy. I love those kind of guys, and talking to Matt Russell's a treat in itself.
He really was, both those guys. I mean, how would you like to golf with Matt Russell? I mean, he gets a 4. You're all right, you know, Matt, you took 10 shots. That's a 4.
It's a 4, and he's got number 4 right there. 2nd down, 11. Quick pass out to Coleman. Just across the 40-yard line with 1:09 on the clock running.
See, I think that hitch pass is there, and they could take advantage of it. The Colorado corners have been giving Washington plenty of space to the outside. You got a big, accurate quarterback who looks on his play chart and says, yeah, I like that hitch pass. Let's go back to that one.
Timeout taken by Colorado. With 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining, gives us a chance to, I think, check in the box probably with Chris Fowler. Chris?
Hi, guys. I'm here in the box. Welcome to New Orleans. As you guys take a breather, Adrian goes for a drive coming up at halftime. We'll take a look at the sugar synopsis, the Gators' new wrinkle, the shotgun, Stanley's status as the Buckeyes name a starting quarterback for the Rose Bowl, and we'll talk about New Year's Eve's bowl games. Lee and Kirk will join me, as well as ABC's Todd Blackledge. We have got former quarterbacks all over the place tonight.
All right, Chris, here we've got 1:04 remaining in the second quarter. 24-21. Colorado with its first lead of the game, courtesy of that Aldridge field goal moments ago.
I thought that might have been the biggest gamble Colorado has taken so far in this half, calling a timeout here on 3rd and 6. I mean, if Washington picks it up, they're going to be with plenty of time left to kick a field goal. Should they stop them, you know, a punt's going to force them back to the 20-yard line.
There's the key right there.
Yeah, they still have a timeout.
Washington didn't have to take their timeout because Colorado stopped it.
So I thought that was a pretty big gamble. Not that the Buffs don't gamble a lot, but one of the first chances we've had a chance to second-guess our buddy Rick Neuheisel.
He's pretty sharp.
He can take it. He's a quarterback, you know.
That's right. Thick skin. 3rd down, a long 5. Here comes the blitz. There's the out. There's Pathan. First down out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
See, those plays are there all day. They're about 11 to 12 yards deep, and they're either going to run the hitch or the quick out. Damon Wheeler is giving Pathan. He saw Pathan run that 100-yard kickoff return. He says, hey, that guy's quick. I'm moving back. It is a true freshman here.
3 catches for Pathan now, and of course one of the big plays of the game, the 86-yard touchdown.
First down, 10 yards to go for the Huskies.
At the 48-yard line.
48.
See, now you're in a position where you can throw the ball. A minute left with a timeout. You've got everything in your offense now.
You saw Matt Russell on the sideline. They've got the pass defense group in there on a first down for Washington. Quick drop, the quick out, again incomplete this time. Intended
is incomplete
for Sheehy. And that's the guy that started the season as a starting tailback for Washington, Garrett.
Yeah, Rashawn Sheehy, you know, hurt his foot a bit, opened up the door for Corey Dillon, and you don't want to open the door for Corey Dillon. I'll tell you that right now. When you look through the press guide about the Washington Husky football this year, they were expecting this guy to be the offense, 1,500 yards and do everything for him. You know, really hard to believe that a freshman quarterback and a guy that they didn't even have much written about, Corey Dillon, have led them to 9-win season.
Second down at 10. 56 seconds left in the half. Heward trying to throw the slant again, and boy, he had a lot on that. Maybe too much.
Maybe too much. Exactly right. There's sometimes that you can just be a little too sharp with that pass, and Pathan, by the time he turned around, that was like catching up with a Clemens fastball. You just can't get the head and the hands up there at the same time. Over the top, boom, right on the shoulder pad. Kind of handcuffed him right up there on that right shoulder pad. And
he knew he was going to take a hit from Wheeler, too.
Yeah, that ball was, again, halfway on the line, and it's a ball that should be caught, but it was moving.
Well, here's a key 3rd down if Washington's to try to tie this thing up before halftime with maybe a field goal shot. They've got 3rd and 10. Sheehy again in there as an extra receiver. Heward pressured, hit from behind, and that one is incomplete, and he got nailed as he let go of it. It's going to be 4th down.
Pathan came across on a little sneak route that time, but Colorado sat in a deep zone. Rashidi Barnes made the play. Here's Pathan going across. They were trying to throw the ball deep, good coverage deep. So Heward has to come to the secondary man, and then boom, right at the end of it right there. And they force the punt with 48 seconds to go.
Let's see if they try to bring some heat. Jeff Prince, the punter.
Why not?
Prince, low snap. Oh, just got rid of it.
Takes his time, doesn't he?
He hit it a mile in the air again. Rosga, fair catch, has to get out of the way.
Oh, was that a nice fake by Rosga?
48-yard kick. It made the end zone with 40 seconds remaining. Rosga with a big smile on his face.
Brendan Jones this time, number 13. He's watching it, and he goes, okay, Rosga's going to kill. Oh, right at the last second. Yep, I got ya. Into the end zone. That was nice.
For a wrap-up of this game and everything else going on in sports today and every day, you can check out ESPN News. First ever 24-hour sports news network brings you all the scores, the highlights, up-to-the-minute reports, comprehensive analysis anytime you want it. Call your local cable operator or satellite provider to make sure you get hooked up with ESPN News, which you will see some of at halftime, which is 40 seconds away for us in a thrilling first half. 24-21 Colorado. Buffs from their own 20. Henry and a little delay. got about 4 yards. And Gary, just seems like maybe Colorado says, you know what, Herschel Troutman's not big enough against this Washington defense. Henry's got more size.
Well, you know, a couple of times Troutman has not done a very good job of picking up those blitzes also, but maybe they're just trying to get Henry some carries in the first half so that they have both of them available in the second half. But you see that timeout, that really did them no good, and it only gave Washington an opportunity to score. And the rush yards, you know, that has been one of the problems for this Colorado football team. All year, they've only had 3 Buff runners gain over 100 yards.
And Carl Durrell and Rick Neuheisel, and they've talked about that. They're going to have to be a better running team next year, but they passed well enough in this half to lead at the break. Halftime at San Diego. 8th-ranked Colorado leading number 13 Washington 24-21. Our halftime score of the Plymouth Holiday Bowl as we send it to our halftime crew. Chris Fowler.
Averaging 44 points, already topped that in a half. Coming up on our halftime report, I'm joined by Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, and ABC's Todd Blackledge. Plenty of guys on the set, plenty to talk about as we continue. Interesting situation in the Rose Bowl where the Buckeyes have finally named a starting quarterback. We'll look at both of their quarterbacks. Stanley Jackson started the first 10 games, but not the Michigan game. Joe Germain got the start and the loss there. Plenty more coming up at halftime. It's the Buffaloes over the Huskies. The Plymouth Holiday Bowl is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental. Great cars in over 50 countries around the world. Best of all, it's thrifty. Welcome back to New Orleans. You can do you some eating in this city. A lot of great delicacies. They call that muffalata. A lot of football to talk about. A lot of guys to talk about it with. Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, and ABC's Todd Blackledge join us. A lot of ex-quarterbacks here, although Lee reminds us he played both ways.
Absolutely, don't you forget it. The good old days.
Todd, you joined us on November 30th when you watched the Gators and the Seminoles the first time around. Your impressions of that game and how it applies to this second game here?
Well, there were a couple things that really stood out to me. First of all, Florida State was a much better team in the special teams. They had the block punt that led to a touchdown. Florida missed 2 field goals. The second one, a critical 41-yarder that would have tied the game in the fourth quarter at 17. The second impression, Florida State was the more physical football team. That showed up in how they ran the football and also, of course, how they got after Danny Wuerffel. And I really think if Florida wants to win the game this time around, they can't allow Florida State to push them around to the field. They've got to be more physical to play against the Noles.
You know, Todd, 2 players that will be involved in this matchup that missed that first game on November 30th. First for Florida State. They're going to get back a player by the name of Chad Bates. Chad Bates is a split guard. Now, he's a 3-year starter, and the importance there is Bobby Bowden made a comment about Chad Bates saying that besides Warrick Dunn, the most valuable player on that offensive side of the ball is Chad Bates. It gives you an idea how important he is coming back. Reggie McGrew, defensive tackle for Florida, returns. Started 10 games as a redshirt freshman. Brings some added quickness to the middle. Don't forget, Warrick Dunn got through the middle for a lot of yardage last game.
Well, watch Florida use the shotgun in this ball game with a new wrinkle. They're going to keep a back in there with Danny Wuerffel. The reason is that they can run exactly the same running plays. The toss, a little draw, a little shovel play with quarterback under the center or back. Plus, remember one thing, the shotgun gives Wuerffel some time. The key thing here, watch Florida runs from the shotgun against Florida State this time.
May not give them a lot of time. It only takes a second for those Florida State guys to get back there. You talk to those Florida State defensive linemen, they are supremely confident. They say it doesn't matter whether Wuerffel's in the shotgun or under center. We're going to get to them. They can't block us. Defense sets the tone for this Florida State team. You watch a practice, these are the emotional leaders. These are the guys that are pumping up the offense. And Mickey Andrews said coming into this season, a lot of question marks in his defense, all been answered.
Yeah, but Mickey Andrews is not a question mark. One of the best defensive coordinators in the country. The reason why the Noles are #1, the improvement from 95 to 96, amazing on defense. Look at the difference. 118 yards per game less total defense. 79 yards less rushing defense. 8.4 less points scored on Florida State this team. Now, this is a battle of different philosophies. The Gators have pass defense. The Noles have defense, run. And you know what? Defense, run won the last time. What do you think this time?
Well, I think one thing. Earlier tonight, we talked a lot about the Florida wide receivers. Well, on the other side of the football, the Florida State Seminoles don't have to take a back seat. They have some people on the outside that can get it done as well. It's just a matter of Thad Busby getting them the ball. One of the guys is E.G. Green, leading receiver on the team with 34 catches and averaged 20 yards per catch, had 7 touchdowns on the year. Now, the rising superstar for this team is going to be Peter Warrick. He came in on the second half of the season and is averaging 21 yards per reception. Now, the thing about the Florida State receivers is in the first game, Warrick did it all by himself. In this game, look for a more diverse attack by getting these wide receivers involved.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because I think for Florida State to win, Thad Busby is going to have to play a better ball game. It was obvious the first time these teams played, his job was just to not lose the game. Don't put your defense in a bad situation. Only 38% completions, but the best number for Thad Busby, 0 interceptions. But for them to win, Florida's going to make the adjustments. Wuerffel's going to have a better game. They're going to score more points. Thad Busby is going to have to make more plays, I think, for Florida State to win this time.
And as coaches say, he is healthier. He's had a lot more practice time than before the first one. Interesting. Y'all ex-quarterbacks here, coaches putting a lot of pressure on Thad Busby. They say it's a crossroads game for his career. He might have to battle for his job next year with Dan Kendra if he doesn't play well in this ball game. Gators, by the way, are not going to watch the Rose Bowl as it unfolds, even though their championship hopes hinge on an Ohio State victory. For the story from Pasadena, I want to check in with Mike Tirico. And the Buckeyes, some news out there for the quarterback situation. Long awaited, Mike.
Yes, long awaited, Chris. You're exactly right. The biggest news we've had here today, an hour and 15 minutes ago, about an hour southeast of here, the center of a 3.2 on the Richter scale earthquake. But the natives tell me, no big deal. It's an hour away. You don't even notice something like that. It wasn't earth-shaking, but there was news out of the Buckeye camp, and Mike Adamle was there to find out about it late this morning, Mike.
Well, Michael, a few tremors down in Costa Mesa where Ohio State practices. You know, John Cooper knew this was coming. From the moment the Buckeyes landed on Christmas Day, inevitably the reporters fired away the question, who was going to be the starting quarterback, Stanley Jackson or Joe Germain? Well, John Cooper didn't want to tip his hand back then, but after evaluating 4 days of practice and endless 7-on-7 drills, he had his answer, Stanley Jackson.
Confidence. It's a vital commodity if you're a quarterback. Stanley Jackson had precious little following the Buckeyes' collapse against Michigan, but in the last 5 weeks, the moxie and swagger has returned. It was not lost on Coach John Cooper.
He's responded. He never pouted. He never hung his head. He never doubted himself. He worked extremely.
At Jack Murphy Stadium.
In Folsom Field on AstroTurf. I ran with Colorado's mascot. Now, here in Jack Murphy Stadium, if I can make it all the way on natural grass, I get my varsity letters. And Running Ralphie.
Take him right into the trailer, folks. Take Karsten right into the trailer. He did it again. That is not a recreation from Folsom Field, folks. A new letter to add to his Northwestern letter collection.
And that was not plausibly live.
No, that was a real deal. That just happened. Well, we had a lot of things happen in that first half. A lot of fireworks, a lot of offense. We expected it. We got it from the guys we expected it from, Dillon and Detmer.
You know, really, sometimes you can look at a game and know it's going to be a great game. We talked, you know, who do you like, who do you like? We couldn't decide, and there was reason for it because there was guys making plays. Corey Dillon, as good a running back as there is in college football, and he showed why. He's got strength and speed, and Coy Detmer took a bunch of hits, but he produced 2 big bombs, a touchdown to Caruth, and he got hit all day, and then to Cheverini to put this game tied, and boy, he took it all day, and he dished it out all day. What a first half, 241 yards passing, and he is the real deal. What a guy to watch.
Halftime stats look like this. Nothing on the ground for Colorado, and 113 for Washington. Each team's had a turnover. One was a touchdown.
Hidden in there, Colorado leads in yards with 249 to 212, but hidden is an 86-yard kickoff return by the Huskies, and of course an interception return by Colorado. We have had everything. We've had fireworks, we've had impersonators, but no impersonators on the field. The ball has been thrown everywhere, and what I like about Coy Detmer is he is willing to go deep. Look at big play there for a touchdown. Big play over here that was third and about 20, and he picked it up. And those were huge plays by a quarterback that got hit a bunch.
Amazingly, first half, very different. One quarter belonged to Washington. The second quarter belonged to Colorado. And a second half yet to come. It was quarter, half.
Yeah, and both teams willing to gamble a lot. That's what makes it a great game.
My buddies, I'm sure, are playing quarter, half right now and loving this football game and loving the fact that I'm not there for the regular Monday night game because somebody else can go home with the money.
Well, yeah, you get you're the guy that feeds them all probably, right?
This guy was feeding his receivers and had an excellent first half. There's how he threw them.
Did not throw the ball downfield, but it's a different style of offense. They are trying to keep this Colorado defense spread out so Corey Dillon can pick apart with the running game, and they were successful. Remember, Colorado said, hey, Mr. Dillon, we know, we've heard, we've read the press clippings, we're going to stop you. Well, they didn't stop them, but they're leading 24-21.
Matt Russell, a guy who just loves to hit people. The Butkus Award winner, stalking the sideline, his team up by 3. He's headed, of course, to All-Star games and then the National Football League.
You know, the play I loved in that first half is when Kreutz and Russell met. They knocked each other down a couple times, and then they patted each other on the head.
Yep.
They respect each other, and they both know that it's just football, and that's the way you play.
And there's a guy that played like Matt Dillon trying to clean up Dodge City in the first half.
Yeah, and as gifted an athlete as we've seen a running back in a long time, we've seen a lot of great ones in the Big Ten all year.
Folks, if you think there's fog coming into San Diego area, it's the smoke clearing from all the fireworks at halftime, and trust me, things will clear up a little bit, and we've got 2 quarters to clear up who's going to win the Plymouth Holiday Bowl. 24-21 as Coy Detmer will bring out the Buffaloes offense at about the 32-yard line.
The question is, can Coy Detmer keep producing? I mean, he has no running game to speak of. Washington has shut it down, but Detmer is beginning to look a lot like Jake Plummer to Washington right now, and we all know what Plummer did against this team in the opening game of the season.
Here we go, 3rd quarter from the 32-yard line. Herschel Trotman back in the Colorado backfield. Detmer comes up, pump fakes one way, and throws deep the other. Overshot his intended receiver, Phil Savoy. Well, that was the first time thrown towards Savoy, who stopped also.
Absolutely. Phil Savoy gave up on the play. He has to keep running the ball because it's on the way. And hey, you may get interference, you may get a jump ball, anything can happen. And you know, Coy Detmer's got to tell Savoy, hey, you want to run a deep out, run the thing out. Here it is. Keep going. I watch him break inside. He said, oh, I don't have it. I'm coming inside. And the ball, meanwhile, is thrown about 10 yards over his head. Jermaine Smith in good coverage on the outside.
2nd down and 10. Savoy takes his spot on the sideline. 2 tight end formation now for Colorado. And Detmer changing things up at the line of scrimmage. Comes up fire in the out. Overshot Kidd.
Yeah, but Chorick didn't overshoot Detmer on the play. Oh, and he taps Detmer, says, I respect you, man, but I got to come and get you. This guy is all intensity, and he is tenacious.
Led the Pac-10 in sacks with 14.5. Here he comes. Boom.
Oh, boy. Melvin Thomas trying to block that guy, but he just keeps coming the whole way.
So now it's 3rd and 10. Chorick could be pinning his ears back again, you can bet. Quick snap. Detmer throws to Trotman. He would have had to break a tackle to get a 1st down, and John Fiala wasn't going to let him.
You know, when we talked about Jerry Jensen moving outside, the guy he opened it up for was John Fiala. John Fiala, talking to the defensive coaches, Randy Hart, he said he was good enough to play. We had to find a spot for him, and his best position was inside linebacker.
He had 22 tackles in the season opener against Arizona State. And that tackle prevented a Colorado 1st down. They'll have to kick 4th and 6. First 3 and out of the night for Colorado. Taking a long time to punt it. Both kickers have been that way. And the fair catch by Jarzinka. Good field position for Washington to start things here in the 3rd quarter. Let's check back in with Adrian.
Well, Brad, while all the other festivities, we'll get to those in a moment, that were going on here at halftime, checked out the Colorado locker room. The guys over here on this side were not real happy defensively with the play of Matt Russell. Remember I said moments before kickoff, he was really going to have to make a difference stopping the run in this game? Well, they don't think he did a very good job of that because he's so concerned about Washington and their passing ability. So he's out of position. Watch for him to really try and focus on stopping the run. Oh, by the way, to the victor belongs the spoils.
You look
I
marvelous.
have lettered and run and Ralphie. Got a different cologne this year, guys.
I bet she does, as a matter of fact. Dillon trips on his own. Kind of a little natural field turf toe thing, brought himself down. Mau was there to make sure he wasn't going anywhere.
Adrian's in much better shape this year, though. See how he's recovered real quick.
Well,
now.
see, Ralphie has lost a year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Mau, who's in on that play, is going to limp off.
We talked to A.J. Kristoff. He said Mau had become a better player this year because he's in shape, frankly.
Yep.
And he's able to play harder, longer in the football game.
2nd down and 9. Dillon empties the Washington backfield as Heward will come up throwing. Out. Haytham makes the catch. and goes down at the 40. They're still short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
Yeah, 3rd and 3, though, is a down that Washington will run the football on. Jim Lambright says, you know, we will run the ball all the way up to 3rd and 7. We don't care if it's 3rd and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We may still dial the run, and so they got it back in that situation.
And you and I looked at each other as if to think of Wisconsin's Copper Bowl. They run a 3rd and 10 with Dane.
Really interesting. Both backs, Dane and Dillon, emerged as late starters and really changed their team.
3rd down, a long 2. They will run. Dillon on a counter, going nowhere.
Not very far.
There's a new sheriff in the backfield.
Matt Russell came in the back door that time. Bob Sapp was pulling and trying to kick out. But this time, Matt Russell read coming downfield. Watch him read this. Right in front of him, Sapp will pull, and then he'll go right behind Sapp. Benji Olsen couldn't get him, and right into number 4. 16 over 4. You know, there's a remainder of 4.
Punting situation. Jeff Prince to kick.
Wow, it takes so long.
End over end. Rosga on the fly at the 30. Rosga got a block. And Steve gets out to the 37-yard line. Matt Russell looking on. He prevented the first down, gave it back to his offense with 12 minutes left in the 3rd.
ESPN's presentation of the Plymouth Holiday Bowl is presented by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. And in part by San Diego. Call 1-800-701-WAVE for a free visitor's planning guide.
I don't know if you can be in 2 greater places in 1 week than we've been. First Tucson for the Copper Bowl, and now San Diego on another gorgeous night here for Monday Night Football from Jack Murphy Stadium with 12 minutes left. 3rd quarter. And Plymouth Holiday Bowl 24-21.
The way you said that, and we said it for a reason, is what the kids have been saying about the game. They have said it is great to play on Monday Night Football. They just said they were psyched for this football game, and it was a heavyweight matchup, and they were looking forward to it.
Steve Rosga looking on as his offense for Colorado will work now from the 38-yard line. Here's a little swing. Troutman with a head of steam finally. And that's the best gain he's had tonight, even though it is not on the ground. It's almost like a running play. Fiala made the tackle. Herschel Troutman over 800 yards on the ground this year. You saw us show you Rashaan Salaam earlier. He is not anywhere near that kind of back size-wise or anything. More like Eric Bieniemy was.
The reason he plays when you're talking to the Colorado people is he does everything well. Maybe not great at everything, but everything well. Catches, blocks, and runs.
2nd down. A long 1 for Colorado. Here comes a blitz. And they didn't get it. Nice stop inside. Chris Campbell, number 35, is there.
Really interesting. Both coaches, A.J. Kristoff and Randy Hart, both defensive coaches have the same philosophy to defense. They say modern-day offenses are just too good. With the ability to now hold, run pick passes, the only way to stop an offense is to get negative plays. You have to force things to happen in the backfield. That's why you see both teams coming at you and playing a lot of man-to-man coverage.
First big play of the 3rd quarter. 3rd down a yard, Colorado. Detmer will give it off to Troutman, and he weaves his way for a first down exactly at the midfield stripe.
That was a nice read that time by Troutman.
John Fiala made the tackle.
Chris Naioli that time kicked out on that play, and Naioli is the All-American number 65. He is right there. He's going to kick out of the play, and Herschel Troutman is going to run right behind him. Each team has an All-American linebacker and All-American guard. Nice combination.
Sure is. Naioli, a senior who's an All-American. On the other side, Benji Olsen, a sophomore, first-team All-American. Man, first down from midfield. Detmer wanted to throw long. Now throws short to Troutman, and he dropped it. Caruth is the man that Detmer wanted.
We talked to Rick about Koy Detmer. I don't know if I can get this one out without stopping to laugh. He said, I go, is he ready to play pro football? And I said, everything. He said, you should have run that one. He goes, everything he does is ready for pro. He says, I just don't think he can be so bold in the pro game because those guys will break him in half. But I don't know if they can coach that out of him, but they might have to.
Like breaking a stallion, huh?
Yep.
Oh, what throw complete. Savoy's got a first down. I thought Jorick was offside, but we'll wait and see.
I don't know. I think there was a flinch on the line of scrimmage that time at the end. Either Melvin Thomas or Andrew Wells jumped on the play, but I thought Detmer almost dropped the snap, and then he completes the ball. That was strange looking, and then he throws it right on the money.
It was offside. Jorick.
Gee, you are hot. I tell you,
he is too.
He is really bad. I thought Welsh moved that time on the end of the line of scrimmage, number 74. Look at him lean back. That is a penalty. They should have called that, and Jorick is correct, and so am I, my friend.
But the penalty goes with Art Massey, our referee. Jorick is one intense individual. I had a chance to meet his uncle and his mom the other day at the hotel. His mom was all smiles about this guy.
Don't get that Croatian mad.
Oh, he'll be coming now, I'll tell you that much. First down. Troutman got a little crease on the right side. And inside the 30 to the 29.
Well, you can see at halftime, Colorado looked at the stats and say, we are going to have to help Koy Detmer. We have to get him some, really make these linebackers respect something besides kind of drawing a bead and putting that laser beam right in between the 1 and the 4. And now they're going to have to tackle somebody else. And I think that's a good adjustment at halftime.
Detmer, the chin strap unsnapped, the T-shirt hanging out, and second down and 5, trying to add to his team's 3-point lead, 24-21.
Couldn't get on a golf course dressed like that, but he can get on a football field.
Here they come. He throws short, over the middle, complete, and short of the first down, however.
The
Chiaverini
took that one right in the levee. The Chevy in the levee that time. Right behind Parrish and Burton. Herschel Troutman, we talked about running the ball effectively and why he plays. It's because he can pick up the blitz. This time he picks up Jensen, the loud man on the line of scrimmage, and gives his quarterback enough time to throw that ball. That's a good job by Herschel Troutman.
And Chiaverini, how about him? 5 catches tonight. He had 7 all year.
Yeah, well, bowl games, get him ready for next year. He's just a sophomore.
That option gets blown up again and a fumble.
I think they got to put the option in the icebox. Yep. That's enough of that one.
Reed covered it at least. So
Nigel Burton, the transfer from Pacific. I said that right, Pacific. Nigel Burton came to this football team because Jim Lambrand in the defense was looking for corners, and they found this guy. Burton said, hey, I can play. I might not be big, but I can play, and he came here and showed them that he is right. Blown up by Jensen coming from the outside, and then Burton strips him from behind.
I think Colorado's in Neverland here. Maybe, well, there's a penalty. Wait a minute. Offside against the Huskies. That changes the complexion immensely.
I thought huge offside penalties in this drive.
Right.
Offside! Defense! 5 yard! First down!
See, I like the whack way of doing it. I'd say you got to call out the guy who did it. You just can't say defense. There's 11 guys out there. That's what Jim Lambert said. Who are you doing? Just don't, give me a number. But they couldn't give him a number, and that's why he's upset.
Little fire in the eyes of Coach Lambright. In the red zone is Colorado. First down just inside the 20. Detmer wants more. To the end zone he goes. Caruth had it knocked away by Jermaine Smith.
Colorado that time used a new formation, an unbalanced line, and tried to get Washington a little bit caught up in something they hadn't seen before. They brought Savoy around in motion and ran him on a swinging up, and then brought Caruth right into the post. And that was very, very close. This ball is thrown, and I thought it was going to be caught. It hung just a second, and watch Jermaine Smith come in and just put his right hand in there enough and cause the drop pass.
Good play by everybody.
Yeah, that ball was slightly behind. It wasn't thrown quite with enough steam, and really that was why the play was made, as Koy Detmer says, got the wrong play and not enough time to change it.
They don't want to blow an opportunity inside the Washington 20 with a 3-point lead. 20 left, third quarter. The Plymouth Holiday Bowl, 24-21, Colorado following a timeout. They've got second down and 10, the 9th play of their drive. 4 wideouts for Detmer, and he's counting bodies on the defense right now.
Washington's in his zone because Aliaga is matched up against Caruth, and that's where he was going with the football. Caruth did not read it because Aliaga blitzed on the play.
Caruth should have had it.
Absolutely. He did not read the blitz by Aliaga on that play. Now, third down for Colorado here, 3rd and long, as right at this time. Welsh is down.
So they'll come out to have a look at the 285-pound junior, another California product, the Colorado team.
Let's take a look again at that play coming off the slot. Ray Caluth has Ink Aliaga. There's Aliaga right there. He is going to blitz, and then Caruth should look for the ball. It will be delivered. Look, the guy leaves. There's nobody there. There's the opening. That's where the ball is being thrown by Detmer, and Caruth, boink, right on the shoulder. Wow. That was a misread. Tony Parrish says, good thing he didn't catch it.
That's what you call getting ear hole. That spiraled him right in the head. 8 balls they've thrown to him.
Perfect read, and he's 3 catches for the night. Now 3rd and 10 for Colorado. They're 50% in this football game. And in this game, 50% conversions, and since 1989, Colorado is 34-0-1 when they're 50% or more in games.
They're right on the 50% for the night. 3rd and 10. Detmer has some time. End zone, overshot Caruth this time. He had a couple steps back there.
Yeah. Mac Tuiaea was in on him that time, and it really forced that throw as they were trying again to pick to the outside of the play. Caruth was getting the pick, and then nothing was there.
So 8-12 left 3rd, and they're going to have to try a field goal.
Caruth made the big mistake on that play and stopped the drive, and they were very fortunate to get that far. 2 third-down conversions with penalties.
Aldridge has already hit tonight from 43. This will be a 36-yarder. He's 5 for 5 on the year. Trying to add to the Colorado lead. Bad snap, well handled, and he got it. That was not a good snap. It was a great hold by Rosga to get it down, and Aldridge did the rest. 8:08 remaining in the quarter, and Colorado leads by 6.
Intercepted. Picked off by Nick Ziegler. He's going to go.
I think Ziegler tipped it.
So I don't know who I'm talking to.
Back in San Diego, talking to all his friends. Nick Ziegler, who kind of changed the complexion of this game with his 31-yard interception return for a touchdown. That and the long pass earlier from Detmer to Caruth erased a 14-0 Washington lead. Now it's 27-21 Colorado. Coleman 5 yards deep, won't bring it out. And the Huskies, trailing by 6, will work from their own 20-yard line. Coming up tomorrow on ESPN2, ring in the new year with NASCAR all day long. Starts New Year's Eve at midnight Eastern with a NASCAR marathon. All the NASCAR races of the season back to back to back. Driving you right into 97. Remember, when it comes to auto racing, too much is never enough. If you want a NASCAR marathon and all the Jerry punch you can stand, the Deuce is the place for you. There's the Prowler.
Can you fit your golf clubs in that thing?
I don't care. I would give up the game to drive that baby. From the 20. Corey Dillon's been kind of quiet since the first quarter. They play fake it to him. Heward comes up firing. Nobody home out there. Pathon's the closest guy.
Had enough pressure in his face where Heward had to get rid of that ball. That fake did not fool anyone that time.
That was Greg Jones with a little pressure. Let's check in with Adrian.
Guys, Colorado defensively, keep an eye on their outside linebackers now. Just on that previous play, what they're trying to do is go through some stumps, some twists to get inside, hopefully get a mismatch blocking-wise from the offensive backs in the Washington backfield. They figure they're really hot after a turnover here. If they can get more pressure on the quarterback, they'll get it turned over, get back in scoring position.
They've got a 3 tight end group in there right now. One of them acting like an H-back trying to lead the way for Dillon, but he's only going to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe eke a yard out of there.
Right now, Colorado's defense has also moved up that time. Ryan Black was lined up just like a linebacker, 4 or 5 yards. Steve Rosga was about 6 or 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. And when we were talking to Scott Linneman, he said Benji Olsen sometimes has to tell Brock Heward, hey, if I could see the feet of the safety,
they're close.
They're too close. We got to throw the ball.
The heck with that 8 and 9 in the box. If I can see his feet, the box is really close.
Right, there he is in his stance right there. Can he see his feet? Rosga's feet? Rosga's at the top.
Play action on 3rd and 9. Want to throw back a screen. They blow that up. It's to the tight end, Cleland. And All over it is Aaron Marshall.
They were in man coverage that time, and everybody played their assignment, and there was no one to throw the ball to, and Brock Huard would be better off just throwing that baby away on that one.
They lost yardage, and it's 4th down and about 14.
That's 2 straight 3-and-outs for this Colorado defense, and A.J. told us yesterday, I said, what will be the biggest surprise Washington has when they see this Colorado defense? He said, I don't think they can really imagine how fast and how good we run.
Yep. Prince inside his own 5 to kick. Rosga is back waiting on it near midfield.
Oh, that was his best of the day.
Rosga's got a back pedal. Steve will take it at the 35 and come the other way. Rosga got about 12 on the return. Nifty return of a 49-yard punt. Steve Rosga, who we talked to yesterday, the trip to SeaWorld for him was a wet one, basically.
Did he get wet?
Yeah, a little bit. Ew. Everybody got wet yesterday. Rosga said, you know, if they slap the ground and Shamu's coming after you, that means you're going to get wet. Well, they've had a great time here. He's had a good football game. That hold he had on the last field goal really helped him get 3 more points.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a baseball player or not, but I think he could play shortstop.
All-State in high school at St. Paul.
You read all that stuff, don't you?
2 times. All-State basketball guard, too. What a family of players, too, huh?
Yeah, but he played at Minnesota, and his other brothers at Wisconsin now.
Detmer throws, and Caruth got it. Deep out, down to the 32-yard line. Nigel Burton made the tackle, but it's 18 yards on the pickup.
You talk to the Washington people. Randy Hart said if Ty Detmer can go back into the pocket and tap the ball, we're in trouble. This time, look at the protection. Had time to tap the ball. There's the tap. There's the completion.
This is the 4th catch for Caruth for 115 yards.
Look at the guts you have to have. You have to have the guts of a burglar to be able to throw the ball over those zones like that.
At the 32, play action. Detmer steps around the rush, completes it out to Chiaverini. Inside the 20 for Darren Chiaverini, having a whale of a game.
Nigel Burton that time thought, I'm going to make the big play. I've got him. I've got him right in the sights, right between the 1 to 4. And all Coy did was give a little dance step around. Here comes Burton. He reads the bootleg. I got him. I got him. Holy cow, this guy is elusive, and he knows where everybody is on the field. Chiaverini now does a little whoop, whoop, whoop. One more time for a big play.
His uncle, Tony, once fought Sugar Ray Leonard for the middleweight crown. He lost in 7, but hey, that's something you can talk about. He can talk about the night he's had. He's going to have a season the way things are going.
Here comes Burton again.
To the corner to Caruth. Ran out of real estate.
This time Herschel got a little bit caught up inside. Troutman did not see Burton coming off the corner. Didn't get his eyes out there quick enough. Burton runs around him, and Coy had to throw the ball maybe a little bit wider and higher than he thought.
Yep.
Made the play.
Sort of see the adjustment and his follow-through, and it never got there.
Mel Miller is saying, you know, in the corner right there, geez, this is not much fun. I mean,
hey, I'm from California. Give me a break.
Right, SeaWorld was fun. The parade was fun. Out at the aircraft, this is no fun.
Here's a blitz on Detmer. Across the middle, almost intercepted by Tony Parrish.
Tony Parrish was the rover a year ago, but he's moved back as Burton has moved in this game. And that time he knew where the ball was going, and he almost took it full speed. Ball's trying to be thrown as a back pedal throw to Chiaverini. There it is. Oh, and Chiaverini did a nice job of breaking that one up.
Washington lost the guy playing that spot last year, Lawyer Malloy, early to the NFL, and they said, can we fill that spot? Well, first team all Pac-10 for number 7, filled it pretty well.
And they just moved a few guys around. Malloy went to New England Patriots.
3rd down and 10. Chorick trying to put some heat, but they'll swing it out quickly to Troutman, and he goes down for a loss.
Boy, these guys are defensive ends, Chris Campbell and outside linebackers, and they all look the same. They all look like they're just guys that draw their gun sights on these running backs and they're all good tacklers.
That kid really came on at the second half of the year, Campbell, and he's had an excellent Holiday Bowl tonight. Aldridge 2 for 2. Last time the snap was a little wide, and Rosga did a great job to get it down for him to hit his second field goal. He'll try to make it 30-21. He's hit from 36 and 43 and now from 38. This one's going left. He missed it. The perfect year goes by the boards. He was 6 for 6 before that one.
I think that's a stop that the Washington defense is really proud of right now. They really caught up. Both defenses are playing well in the second half. Nigel Burton came around the corner. I don't think he got his hand on him, but he did get his head on the leg.
Rosga had to scramble for that one a little bit too.
Right on the follow through right there. He caught the leg of Aldrich, and they're very fortunate that wasn't called.
Well, a break for Washington. A missed field goal gives them the ball back. They trail by only 6, 27-21.
You said it. They have not been able to get Corey Dillon on track since the first quarter.
He owned the first quarter. Here comes a blitz. Dillon ran smack dab into Matt Russell. Got 4 or 5, though, as he took the pile his direction.
Yeah, that time coming off the edge, Mike Phillips, the outside backer, was giving Dillon no choice but to keep it up inside, and they just had to do it. Left side, right side of your screen, right out of here, is going to be the guy that forces Dillon to come inside, and there's Russell. As you see Benji Olsen try to get to him, Kreutz couldn't get to him, and Russell makes the tackle.
Mike Phillips.
Still got 5 yards, though, didn't they?
That's right. Second down at 5. Huard.
There's the plays that I like that this team can do, even though that's a good tackle to the outside.
Gerald Harris made the catch, and a hit by Damon Wheeler.
Damon Wheeler is a guy with a tremendous amount of talent out there. One of the fastest players on this football team, and has really come on for this team starting in this game.
Another California kid out of Sacramento. He trots out right now.
Yeah, they got their short yardage defense in right now, almost a goal line defense. Remember last time in the situation, they gave the ball to Dillon right up the gut.
Don't you bet Matt Russell will be involved on the tackle on this play?
Right up to Dillon, up the gut. He's gonna, I think, hit it.
But I think Dillon got the first down.
Yep. That was a big first down for Washington should they get it. They went 2 straight 3-and-outs, and their defense is, that's our first down of the second half, and they needed to do that. It's been all Colorado.
And Russell was in on the stop.
Really think the game plan, Scott Linehan has said, let's spread them back out and go back to what we did at the beginning of the game. Linehan on the left, Randy Hart, the defensive coordinator, on the right. Let's spread this defense back out and try to run Dillon.
2:50 left, third quarter. 27-21 Colorado. Washington trying to get back in it. Nice play fake by Huard. Wants it all. Deep ball. Pathon's there. He's got it.
They didn't fool anybody with this play fake. Simmons and Rosga were both there on the play, but Brad, like I said, some people, and Brock Huard has that ability, some guys can just throw the ball and complete the ball. They just know how far to throw it. Huard steps up, nice and big, he's got a lane to throw it, and look where he puts it. Right there, Pathon makes the nice catch. And, you know, he's like a guy, you ever play golf with a guy who putts the ball? He can be 100 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, he'll roll it right up there next to the cup. That's how Brock Huard throws the ball. He's always on target.
That was a beautiful pass to the 22-yard line. First down, Huskies. Dillon. And now Dillon with a head of steam. Following that interior line group of his. Goes for about 8 more. Rosga finally dragged him down from the secondary. And the Husky fans are back in it.
Yeah, this is the best interior 3 I've seen in quite a few years. Kreutz, Sapp, and Olsen. And then they get a lot of push. And then you've got a running back in Corey Dillon who believes in him and says, I'm willing to make what he calls 4 ugly yards. And when you're willing to make 4 ugly yards, sometimes you make 8 and 9 ugly yards. And that was beautiful to Jim Lambright.
Second down a yard. He got 9. Again, the 2 tight end set. They run the counter to Dillon, and Dillon's got a first down. It's first and goal, or very close to it. He's right at the 10-yard line. Check in with Adrian.
There's another thought on that offensive line for Washington. They've been so banged up this year, and they've had to rotate positions, 6, 7 different combinations over about 11 or 12 games all night long. Those three guys right in the middle from center and 2 guards have communicated so well. Run blocking, pass blocking. They see the whole field. They're very intelligent guys, and they communicate so well.
Well, communication is good by Olin Kreutz, right?
He makes all the calls, even out to the tackles.
That's incredible when we heard that. He's helping his tackles on calls.
Dillon racked up after about a yard gain. Greg Jones got first contact. Mike Phillips helped him out.
Brad, you know, Adrian talked about the injuries and some shuffling around. Well, Lynn Johnson, the right tackle, number 57, that might have been the key move for this Washington team. He broke his hand, couldn't snap the ball. Kreutz goes in at center, and then Lynn Johnson comes back and moves out of tackle. They solved 2 positions, and they found a great center in Kreutz.
And Johnson ended up playing 3 different positions, including that starting tackle spot now. Second down. Ball at the 9.
This is a passing down because it's almost goal to go, as you called it.
Quickly, they go out in the flat intended for Janoski, and it's incomplete. Heward's upset with himself that he got too much on that and threw it too wide.
Tried to throw it too perfect. You know, tried to make the perfect throw and let Janoski catch that ball on the run when he needed to just complete it. And now they're in at 3rd and 10 or 12-yard situation. And in this situation, A.J. Kristoff is worried about the quarterback draw from Heward. He said this guy is a runner, and he's willing to run.
3rd down and 9. And
Colorado took a timeout. Had the wrong package of players in there, only 10 of them, and he had to change it up.
Coaches will talk about it, so will the players. We'll take a break with 39 seconds remaining. 3rd quarter. It's 27-21. Now the Marines are having a good time, so are we. It's 27-21 with 39 seconds left. And can they get a first down? Well, if you can fit a football in between that pylon and the yard marker, maybe. And Pat McGrath, our ace statistician, says that he's argued with the powers that be up here, and we'll call it 3rd down and 9. 9.5 for a touchdown. 3 wideouts. Now they spread out. Janoski comes over in a slot right. And now he's in motion the other way. Heward, there's the quarterback draw Gary talked about, and Colorado was ready for it.
Yeah, they watched film also. Nick Ziegler that time came around the back, and I think Washington would have liked to have called that play closer to the goal line, 10 yards. You could see when Janoski went in motion, Colorado didn't follow him. It was going to be zone defense, so everybody was looking at Heward. It just didn't work, but they'll take the field goal.
With the drop, it ends up being about a 13-yard run. You got a long way to go when you drop back that far.
Yeah, you're right. But I don't think they wanted an interception. They wanted to put 3 points on the board, at least take a shot at 3 points.
Heward will hold.
Yeah, when your percentage is 50%, you're not feeling real good about this.
Randy Jones had it blocked. It looked like Phillips got it.
Mike Phillips is the guy that got in there, and maybe that's why they're 50%. They look like they take their time on the field goal game also. Great stop by the Buff defense as Washington gets nothing out of it as we head into the 4th quarter.
The last play of the 3rd looked like this. Mike Phillips slicing through, putting a hand out, hit him right in the elbow.
He didn't even jump. You're exactly right. That was just a low kick, and it hit Phillips right in the elbow. And that was a bad kick and bad protection and everything in between.
Art Massey will run it down the other way. Phillips a happy camper as he's preserved the 6-point lead for Colorado as we'll head to the 4th when we come back. A redshirt freshman quarterback huddling a whole team.
Yeah, and that is really impressive when you got the freshmen in there telling all the seniors and everybody that we need a touchdown. We're into the 4th quarter. We've done it before. This guy came in his first game against Arizona State, down 21 points, and tied that football game with 3 touchdowns against Arizona State in Temple.
And Arizona State won it on a last-second field goal and went on to an undefeated regular season. Here's Herschel Troutman. Troutman goes for about 4. out to the 19-yard line, and we are in the fourth quarter. And Gary, you wonder in this game if it's going to be a situation of who's got the ball last, or maybe who's got the most depth.
Well, that's a good point, and you have to think about that. Washington, again, coming off probation, they do not have as many scholarship players. When you consider players they're redshirting, they're probably in the high 50s or low 60s, and they probably don't have as many players. And I'll bet the punter and the kicker are the guys they really were counting on. Only 5 seniors are on scholarship.
Tight end with a catch on 2nd and 6, good for a first down, and it's Matt Lepsis.
That was a hot receiver again. Lepsis turns around like we talked about Caruth, and there you see Detmer says, you do it a lot better than Ray did on the other one. Give me somebody to throw to. Lepsis says, you know, it's easy to do when you can't run. You just turn around. Guys coming from the outside. Number 40, Jensen is coming. Inside, Aliaga comes. So, hey, I turn around, catch the ball, make a first down.
And Lepsis has the Detmer look going with a T-shirt. It's going to become a fad.
Oh, yeah. In Colorado now, they're going to be throwing penalties about every high school kid that ever played.
First down. Coy throws it out. Too far in front of Ray Caruth. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. You know, when you talked about that decrease in scholarships due to probation, think of the job that Jim Lambright has done. He said, you know, when you're hit in the mouth and things are really going tough, you find out what you're made of. And he has certainly kept this Washington program together.
When Don James left, Jim Lambright, who's been at Washington, as you said, forever, just took this program, and it has not skipped a beat. I think that might be the best 3-year coaching job in college football, and really nobody knows about it. Really have to respect what a lot of people thought was a lifetime assistant, and he's proven he could be a head football coach.
Some people thought that was going to be an interception as Fiala put the hit on Chris Anderson. The ball came loose. It was almost picked off.
Well, Jim Lambright, I'll tell you how long he's been there. I played against him when I was at Purdue. He was a coach at Washington. Back in 1970, 71, 72. We faced a guy named Sonny Sixkiller. Lambright was the defensive coach, and Sixkiller got his picture on Sports Illustrated.
That's right.
I guess you figure out who won.
Yeah, we saw Sonny last night. One of the most memorable names and players, definitely in Washington history and college football history. Detmer throws out. Shiverini shivers down the sideline. First down at the 38-yard line.
Same thing that Lepsis did the play before Shiverini does his assignment. 2 guys come from the outside. There's Burton right there. When he comes, I say, hey, I'm just going to come right out here. The quarterback sees it and throw the ball to the outside. Easy pitch and catch, because the quarterback and the receiver both know that Tony Parrish, way over here who has coverage, was trying to disguise it. Look at all the space he had to make up.
Shiverini, 7 catches in the regular season, 7 catches in the Plymouth Holiday Bowl for 94 yards. Oh, man. Out of Corona, California.
No, the option.
Get rid of the option.
Well, we got a different guy in here running it this time, don't we? Yeah.
Ayub Abdul-Rahman was running it nowhere.
Didn't work any better, did it? What happened is Detmer lined up as a wide receiver, lined up at slash, to use a slash to this one. Now let's see if he blocks. He's not going to run the fade.
And Miller runs him out of bounds and into the Washington bench.
And he's lucky he didn't get called on that play.
I'd put Rahman back on the sideline. I'd put number 14 back at quarterback. Well, no offense to Ayub Abdul-Rahman, but those plays haven't been happening tonight. Detmer steps up. These kind of plays have been happening tonight. Caruth loose in the secondary. Down to the 34-yard line. 28 more yards, Detmer to Caruth.
I hate to keep talking about Coy Detmer, but he has an unbelievable feel for a pass rush and knowing where to go in the pocket. He has Joe Montana-like feel in the pocket. And I saw him as a freshman and predicted he could play like Joe Montana. This time, Caruth goes downfield, but what happened was Coy bought the time, and the ball was there. When he turned around, he can't do it any better than that. And there he is. He's running up in the pocket. Jensen was chasing him. Aliaga was chasing him, but when they came around the back end, there was room up in the middle, and that's where Coy went.
Nice throw on the run.
Yep.
There's Caruth's numbers, including a long touchdown catch of 76 yards. Penalty marker down.
Yeah, Colorado is going to get an illegal substitution that time. 12 men in the huddle.
Rick Neuheisel will argue the case and lose the argument, I'm sure.
Well, he's a lawyer. I don't know about that now. See, there's Rick. Rick fancies himself the Johnny Cochran of coaching right now, but he loses this one.
Rick Neuheisel is a quarterback. Played pretty well one day against Washington. I can tell you that much. Back in 1983, October 29th. 25 of 27. An NCAA record, 93% completion in a win over the Huskies. 27-24. Now he's coaching Colorado against the Huskies. His team in front. Play fake by Detmer. Home run ball. Caruth. Bumped.
Tony Parrish made a big mistake that time, the free safety. If he would have just turned around and not panicked, he could have caught that ball. Detmer threw it real early, and Parrish's lack of experience at free safety showed on that play. He did not find the ball, and he just turned around and nailed Caruth. That was good coverage. They didn't fool anybody. Tony Parrish is in the middle of the screen right here. He's backing up as they run the reverse pass right here. Now watch when this ball is thrown real early. Parrish is there in plenty of time. If he'd have just turned around and looked for the ball instead of hitting the receiver, he would have had a chance to intercept that play instead of taking a 15-yard penalty.
And a first down, Colorado at the 24-yard line of Washington.
He just panicked. He couldn't find the ball, and he panicked.
Anxiety play right there. And now Colorado's got a first down on their fullback. Darren Fisk takes it for about 4. Wrapped up on the play by Burton and Aliaga. Time winding down at 12:15, and if Colorado scores, you can bet it'll become a factor.
Really have to respect this Colorado football team, because I can tell you, Washington is a better football team now than they were when they faced Arizona State in the first game of the football season. And Colorado is showing that they're the real deal. They lost to Michigan in a very emotional game early in the year. And then the weather, I think, played a big part in a very winnable game against Nebraska.
As I said earlier, they were 12 points away from being undefeated. Here's Fisk, the fullback again. How about that? He didn't carry it much. He carries it down short of the first down. Burton and Aliaga again. And there's the Detmer family. How proud must they be, huh? And
there's
Coy Jr.'s taking a snooze right now.
Of course, Dad is a football coach out of Texas, and he's had a couple good quarterbacks. I bet he's got a good record in Texas football, huh?
Yes, he does. Loves his ranch and his cattle and his 2 sons throwing the ball around. That was Coy's wife, Katie, with the little guy who's not watching the old man right now. 3rd down and 3. Fisk again. Might have gotten a first down. Awfully close, maybe close enough to measure. Aliaga and Fiala in on the stop. And under 11 minutes, Gary, if Colorado gets any kind of score, including a field goal, would take 2 Washington scores to win. Let's see if they're going to bring the sticks out. They will as we go down to Adrian.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a lot of miles logged here for the Detmer family. Sonny, got to ask a question. Watching Coy play his last college football game, it's got to be a great feeling for you as he's passed for over 300 yards already.
Oh, yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and he's had a really good career up there at Colorado. Good place to go to school.
Eddie, you've just come from the San Francisco-Philadelphia Eagle game. What do you hear about Ty's condition?
It's just been too exciting. I can't talk.
Perfectly all right. We'll let Coy's wife, Katie, talk after this play, Brad.
All right. It is 4th down and a huge play. You saw the length. Not even the length of the football. They loaded up with Caruth, the only wideout. Fisk and Lendon Henry in the backfield. Detmer trying to do it himself. Did he get it? Looks like he got enough push to pick up the first.
Usually when you're not pushed back, they give you the benefit of the doubt. And everybody's right-footed in this situation. You're going to get a good big mark, I think, from the officials and get it. Went over Chris Nioli that time, their All-American guard.
Still no official signal from the referees, and they're going to take a look at it again. Bring out the sticks again.
Sure does appear that the Washington blitzing linebackers have had a long night in this football game. They got to come time after time, and they know they probably have to get there in less than 3 seconds or Detmer's going to burn them.
First down. Coy Detmer got it by the length of the football. A happy wife with Adrian Karsten.
Katie, let me ask a question. Does Coy think he might go higher in the draft because Ty has done so well and kept it all inside the family?
We don't talk about the draft.
How about you? Let me ask you, what do you think about your dad going in the draft? Well, no comment. There you have it.
He's not going to talk about it either. The whole family won't talk about it. But I can tell you that Ty has helped Coy and Jake Plummer and all smaller-sized quarterbacks.
Option, and it's blown up again, but they did get the pitch this time. Coy got rattled by Dave Ritchie.
Yeah, Dave Ritchie coming from behind, and that was almost a disaster.
I tell you who probably would have talked about it, his mom, but her voice is gone.
That's right. She's the only one. If I told you anything, I'd have to kill you. That's what they said. Coming around from the outside, from behind, Ritchie and Coy again. He plays it all out. He's willing to gamble, and that option play hasn't gotten it much tonight. What is that, the 4th time? And they've had 2 disasters and 2 no-yarders.
Colorado started at its own 15. This is the 13th play of the drive. They lead by 6 with 9:40 left. Detmer over the middle. Got his man at the 1-yard line. It's Ray Caruth. First and goal, Colorado.
You know, a lot of coaches will tell you, you got to set your feet when you throw the ball. You have to set your feet. Well, sometimes you have to buy time and throw it backing up. Detmer on this one just kept backing up and waiting for Caruth. Back up, back up, back up. He actually almost took a step backwards as he let it go, but just threw for the opening. He knew he had one-on-one coverage. He put it in a spot where just his receiver could get it.
First and goal, that far away from the Washington end zone, the 1-yard line. Henry and Fisk in the Buffalo backfield. It's Lendon Henry hit, drop for a loss. John Fiala with great penetration, and they lose about 3 yards. This guy's played a heck of a football game.
Yeah, he really, all of these guys on defense, they have been coming. They're tenacious blitzers. They're just against a quarterback that has a hot hand.
This guy's a former walk-on. He turned down a scholarship to USC, walked on at Washington, and now the captain of the defense.
This would be a situation where you're going to see a play action, a bootleg type thing, a roll-out type pass.
Colorado's had the ball the entire 4th quarter. Detmer to the end zone. Caruth, touchdown.
They had double coverage that time on Caruth. He just threw it right behind Burton, right off his shoulder, and put it right into Caruth. I'm sure Colorado will go for 2 in this situation. Hey, yay!
Daddy did it. Daddy did it.
Watch number 8. He's going to throw right off the shoulder that time, right behind him. Burton can't get it, puts it right into the end zone, and Caruth just taps down those toes for 6 points.
What a night for that battery. Detmer to Caruth. And Coy's going to call a timeout here, I think, because there's confusion as to what the 2-point play attempt would be.
And that's their last one of the game for Colorado.
We'll take a timeout with 8:34 remaining in a quarter that's belonged to the Buffaloes. 2-point conversion attempt is coming up with Colorado in front 33-21. And virtually half of this quarter has been Colorado's football. Troutman behind Detmer. You expect a pass here, though.
Tremaine Smith has Caruth man-to-man on one side.
Detmer steps up, throws, knocked down. Nice play by Nigel Burton. And that prevents 2 more, so it leaves it a 33-21 game. 85-yard touchdown march, though, in 15 plays and 6:26 the elapsed time as Colorado scored 19 unanswered points.
2-point play. They burned a timeout. They didn't get 2 points for it. Going to the outside, and Burton did make a nice play swatting his ball out that time. There was really nobody open. He had to try to stick it into Savoy. And Nigel Burton said, boy, it's a lot easier covering this guy than it is Caruth, I'll tell you that.
You know, Washington's a proud defense. They give up only 103 on the ground per game a year. And tonight they haven't given up much on the ground. There have been in the past some performances of note against Washington Husky defenses, however. And as you take a look at them, here's the top 10 rushing performances all time against the Huskies.
You know,
Charles White.
To gain 200 yards against Washington, some of the greatest runners that probably ever ran in this game.
Some of the greatest runners of all time. You see most of them first and second
Ty
round.
Wheatley, Marcus Allen, Eddie George. Why is this spacing?
You got a gap there. There's got to be another great running back.
Oh my gosh.
213 yards.
You know, Purdue never used me right after that.
No, they didn't. That was in a half, wasn't it?
That was in the first half, to tell you the truth. We ran the wishbone my senior year.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Speaking of exhausted.
Gary Danielson had the most productive day of any Big Ten quarterback when he rushed for 2.
There he goes, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, as Berman would say.
Oh, look at that straight arm. Now I get caught by a defensive tackle here. That's a little embarrassing on the play.
You told me you were a little bit tired.
Yeah, a little bit tired. In fact, so tired I didn't even get to play the second half.
Well, didn't you set two pretty good guys out on the wings when you ran that?
Our two halfbacks, why we went to the wishbone, Darryl Stingley and Otis Armstrong, and Jim Lambright, who was the coach, that said, I wasn't dumb. I was going to cover those guys and let you carry the ball. It's the first thing he said to me when he saw me at practice.
And he also said, remember who won the game.
Yeah, they beat us 22-21.
At the 26-yard line, Washington's got it back now, and they've got some ground to make up. They trail by 12.
This is the first Washington game I've ever done, so it was quite I think Jim's been waiting 20 years to tell me that. we both
fire in
looked
those blue eyes tonight, though.
We both looked a lot different. I think the scholarships and lack of scholarships would be a better way of saying it is catching up with this Washington team, and they're also facing probably the hottest quarterback in college football, and it's not cold out, by the way.
You can see that rushing defensive record's not in jeopardy tonight. Here's Heward going on a streak down the sideline, intended for Payton, incomplete. Damon Wheeler was out there covering.
Heward was recruited by Colorado, and one of the things Bill McCartney did was call Brock Heward and tell him that he was going to leave Colorado and turn his attention to the Promise Keepers, and let Brock know, if you're deciding to come to Colorado, don't come just because I'm here. And Brock made a decision. I think that was a class decision by Bill McCartney to let the kid know before he decided to go to Colorado for the wrong reason.
At the 26, 2nd and 10. They'll have to lean on Heward now. They know they've got to throw. In and out of the hands of Fred Coleman. Some of the passes that have not been held on to tonight, quite frankly, I think have got a little bit too much zip on them.
I'll tell you, he effortlessly throws the ball with a lot of zip on him. He will be, I think, the premier quarterback in college football in a couple of years. I mean, by his junior year, I think you'll see an offense build around him. You'll see scholarship wide receivers from all different parts of the country wanting to catch balls from him, and probably the best passing attack in the Pac-10, if not the country.
They're under their regular season average on third down conversions. 3rd and 10 here. Heward flares it out, and a nice effort to get the first down by Dave Janoski. And he's been banged up a little bit, and he comes up limping, as a matter of fact, but he got the first.
Yeah, one of those throws that looks a lot easier to throw on TV than it actually is. Your guy running exactly away from you. Remember, he missed one of those throws before to the outside. This one was put right to the receiver. Janoski catches it on the run, and he breaks Torrey Davis's tackle on the play and picks up the first down. Absolutely imperative. Washington has to put points on the board if they're going to make this a football game.
They've got the first down. Colorado almost jumped offside. Here's Dillon, knocked down in the backfield by Ryan Black.
Got him right on the knee coming in. And they're really crowding the line of scrimmage on first down and forcing Washington to throw. And Corey saying, man, these Colorado guys are for real. Couldn't get to the outside, had to bounce it, and there's the strong safety. Defense played exactly right. And when the safety makes a tackle, you know everyone inside is doing the job.
Ryan Black led this club in tackles. He walked out his first year, packed all his gear up in his car, went into Coach McCartney after his first quarter, paying his way on, said, Coach, I can't afford this anymore. Scholarship now, leading tackler, big play there. 2nd down 11. Heward overthrows his intended receiver. Covered out there. Nice job defensively. Rashidi Barnes out there on Cleveland. Detmer 3 touchdowns and way over 300 yards throwing tonight.
Down, 10 yards to go.
In fact, he's just under 400. What am I talking about? 371 Coy's got.
The Colorado pass rush has been giving Brock Huard a problem in this game. He has been able to throw quicker than he wants to. You can see it all day.
Blitz coming from Black off the corner. Huard lays it out. He's got a man open, and he dropped it. Gerald Harris had hit him right in the 9.
Right in the 9. See, that's a harder throw when you don't have 2 numbers to hit. You got to hit it right on the 1 number.
You got to hit it right in that square.
Right on the bullseye. The blitz, as you called it, and he got pretty good protection that time. And when you give this guy time to throw, Ryan Black coming off the corner, and see, he's got a nice pocket there. That's a good job. When you give the quarterback time to throw the ball like that, he's going to put it. And like I said, he has an absolute ability to throw the ball long with a great accuracy, and he puts it right on the 9. And there's a guy that was thinking touchdown before he caught it.
Yep.
Gerald Harris, though, had a big touchdown pass against Arizona State early in this season.
Punt coming up. Nice kick. Rosga camps under it at the 22. Rosga slips by a couple people. Flag goes down. Might have an illegal block on the return as Rosga got it out across the 30-yard line. And under 7 minutes remaining now in the ball game. 33-21. Colorado leading. And they might have to backpedal a little bit after this flag. The illegal block on the Buffaloes. Brian Sutter might have been the guy that was the guilty party. There's a wide receiver that would love to have another shot at that pass, a freshman out of Kent, Washington. We should say, too, to the folks up in the Seattle area and back there who had planned to come to the Plymouth Holiday Bowl, you have our condolences on the terrible weather up there. And in fact, yesterday, they were trying to find a way to send some of the tickets overnight express some way to get down here just to give to anybody to use on some of the folks that just, quite frankly, couldn't make it out of there and make the trip down. I've still never seen so much purple in my life as I've seen this week, though. Timeout with 6:56 left in the ball game. Hey, and let's see, Gary, your room is right about in
is
there.
That it? Right in there?
Yeah, somewhere down there. No, that's yeah, you're a little left.
Oh, a little left. All I know is I can see the water.
That's right.
And
First
it wasn't
down.
frozen.
No, it wasn't.
There's nobody ice skating on it, which is a nice view.
Here's a run out across the 20. Lyndon Henry. Tony Parrish made the tackle. That's maybe the best run of the night for Colorado. Now they need to run the ball.
Yeah, and that's the question. 4th period in this football game, 6.5 minutes left. Can you run the ball when you have to run the ball? And that's going to be the challenge for Colorado. If they pick up a couple first downs here, they're going to say, yes, that's running the ball. We don't care how many yards we get. We just want to be able to run it when we have to and make a couple first downs, and the game could be over.
They only had 27 yards on the entire night before that 6-yarder by Henry.
And I think what Rick Neuheisel and Coy Detmer has told his team is, listen, holding on to the ball is more important than first downs right now.
A hurdle by Henry and a first down, it appears, across the 25 to the 26.
Yeah.
Coach said, boy, there goes a minute off, a couple minutes off the clock. Now we can breathe a little bit easier.
Of course, when we talk to Rick, you have to bring up the fact that every rumor that gets started anywhere in pro football, Rick Neuheisel's name is in the middle of it.
In fact, any place in football. He said they had me at the Alabama-Auburn game. He said I was in California.
Well, that's what happens when you're a hot commodity and you have a passing attack, and you're a type of coach that'll sell seats because people like to watch that ball thrown around, and you know, people say, is this the next Spurrier?
He says, quite frankly, it's flattering if nothing else. Here's Henry, Lyndon Henry, running strong when the Buffaloes so desperately need him.
Yeah, and let's give the credit up front then, because that's the offensive line that's in great shape for this finish of this football game. Again, the combination of Nioli and Reed Smith pulling and taking on that counter action that time, and Aaron Wade's in the football game, but I think it's a defense that has been wore down Jason Detmer all day. Remember when Big George Foreman fought Ali and he took all those swings and he didn't knock him out? He got tired. Well, the Washington defense took all the swings that Coy Detmer didn't knock him out, and now they're out. Look to me like they're out of gas.
I think Detmer is rope-a-doping them.
Yep.
Lyndon Henry trying to cut it outside. And this time they stretch it out. The ball is loose.
Whoa.
Still Colorado football.
That is the turnover that Jim Lambright and Randy Hart were praying for. And
Tony Parrish has the ball.
I got the ball. What, did somebody hand it to me?
And I think Coach Lambright wants a timeout. 4:36. Well, the clock's still winding. Apparently not. Now
let's watch the end of that and say I think it was John Fiala that caused this play. Ball pops loose. It's on the ground there. Now who gets it?
Looks like.
I'm not sure exactly who it was. Let's say it might have been Adam Reed, number 53, that jumped on that thing. That's my guess.
We've got a timeout. Colorado in front, 33-21. In beautiful San Diego, California, the Plymouth Holiday Bowl has 4:33 left. Colorado leading by 12. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle's been providing all our aerial shots from this gorgeous city. And atop the Murph, Jack Murphy Stadium. Sensational first half as Colorado was down 14, came back to lead at the break, and they've extended it now. They lead by 12, and time running out on the Huskies with 4:33 left. But a big third down right here. 3rd and 6. Detmer almost picked off. Aliaga would have taken it for a touchdown.
Aliaga says he threw it a little too hard that time because I had it nailed. That time, first time in the game almost, Randy Hart faked the blitz and gave him a zone blitz. Aliaga came from the outside right there. He is going to see this ball. He's going to intersect it right at that point right there. Aliaga says, oh, geez, if I could have just got one more hand on it, I had it.
He intersected the path, but he didn't intercept the ball. Punt coming up. Jarzinka bobbling.
Oh, wow.
30-yard kick. Jarzinka covered it. And Washington still has life remaining at their own 40-yard line. Pretty good field position to work from. Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week continues New Year's Day morning at 11 o'clock Eastern. It's the Outback Bowl. The Crimson Tide of Alabama roll into Tampa, looking to match wits and hits with Jared Irons and the Michigan Wolverines. Ouch. It's the first game of the new year right here on ESPN.
That's a great matchup also, but I don't think this Washington offense should be very tired. They produced no points in this half. Colorado's defense has dominated. They should be fresh. They need to do something here.
Fake the end around. Heward comes up throwing to Dillon. They've got to get it number 4's hands, and he takes it out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Mom says, all right, Corey. There's speculation that he might be playing his final football game for Washington.
Well, I hope not. Corey Dillon has not been in one place more than 1 year in his career, high school or college or junior college. I think he could steady himself and really show everyone what he is made of by having maybe a 2,000-yard year next year. And they're going to have a good football team. I mean, when we talked to Jason Chork, he says, I think we got a team good enough to win the national championship.
At the 45, first down. Janoski in motion. Heward wants to throw out to Dillon again. Phillips tried to bring him down, and Dillon keeps on going down near the 38.
Boy, did Mike Phillips do a good job that time of reading that play and getting out there, but Dillon again showed his strength. Brock Heward is saying we need to go hurry up, and he's getting exactly what he wants. Hurry up offense. 3:50 to go in the football game.
Corey Dillon led the NCAA in scoring with his 23 touchdowns this year. He's got 2 tonight, but they've got to get him some more touches. Heward's got Phillips all over him.
Well, when you run the ball a lot and you have the success that Washington did in the last 6 football games running the ball, sometimes your pass blocking can deteriorate. And so far, Colorado has done a much better job of putting people in the face, and A.J. Christos is just according to design.
Huskies are down to 1 timeout, and time running out with 3:35 left. Jim Lambright looking up at that clock, wishing there was about 10 more minutes to go. But Sports Center, Steve Levy, Carl Ravitch coming up in about 3 minutes and 35 seconds.
Boy, all the players and everybody connected with the both universities have said that this San Diego Holiday Bowl is the best kept secret of bowls, too. They have really enjoyed it.
Both teams had a great time. Their fans likewise. Washington hoping for a miracle finish. They trail by a dozen. Heward Steps up, deep middle, overshot his tight end, Cameron Cleland.
Well, had him that time. Just put a little bit too much air under it. You got to put it just like Koy Detmer throws it, just above the linebacker's hands. You don't want to put too much loop on it. Too many guys, and that's something that you learn. You know, you can have all this experience you want as a redshirt freshman, whatever you call it, but you got to learn it the hard way by making mistakes.
And down to maybe the final chance here. 4th down and 8 with 3.5 to play.
That guy'd like to run out there and play defense.
Yep, he probably would. Empty backfield. Huard over the middle. Receivers haven't helped him tonight.
No, that one wasn't one they could have caught. Rashad Sheedy that time bobbled that one and coughed it up, and that might be the last straw.
Huard will have other days.
Went to the right guy, would have easily had a first down. The ball was hit him right in the face mask. You got to catch that ball. Rosga was there, but I think he would have made the first down.
Colorado takes over.
That look, I've seen that look on every quarterback I've ever played with, to tell you the truth. What was that?
At the 43, Detmer brings out the Buffaloes offense. Washington can only stop the clock one more time. And here's Fisk, who gets all tangled up with Aliaga. And no gain on the play. Aliaga's had some kind of ball game. Dave Ritchie was there to help him on the stop. Ink Aliaga. Somebody asked him, what's ink stand for? He said, nothing, just ink. My mom thought it was cool.
Hey, why not? Does sound good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, Colorado next year again has one of those schedules. They play at Michigan, and anytime you have Michigan and Nebraska on your schedule, you have a chance to win the national championship. Also, Texas, obviously, that Big 12 conference being tough. And, you know, Colorado has done good things since '89, and they've played a lot of good teams.
The give to Trotman. Trotman out to the 45. The biggest question for Colorado will be who will take Koy Detmer's spot. You lose a guy that threw for 3,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. And he said, hey, I'll put my money on John Hessler.
Yeah, he comeback kid a year ago. He did all that thing stepping in for Koy when he hurt his knee. And there's John Hessler, who came back in the Texas game and had that good comeback victory for Colorado in that game. And he says, as Rick Neuheisel said, that Koy and John are not alike.
2:35 remaining. The quarterbacks will chat about it on the sideline. Might be in the quarterback mix next year. Adam Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe's little brother.
He's either that or some 10th grader that snuck in here and put on a jersey. Boy, he looks young, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He redshirted this year.
I got one young one looks just like that eating at my house, tell you the truth.
Here's 3rd down and 8.
Well, what do you do? Throw the ball again?
I don't know. Last time they almost had it intercepted.
Well, you know what I do? I throw the ball deep.
And if it gets intercepted, so what?
Right. You know, I'd give that little fake slant and then go for the deep ball and try to go out in a blaze of glory. Hey, you only got a senior quarterback once, you know?
He's already thrown for over 370 yards and 3 touchdowns. He'll throw the quick out, and he skipped it off Carew's hands. So they will have to punt it back to Washington.
That's a harder throw than a fade. Head inside technique there. He could have gone deep with the fade.
Detmer, those had a huge night. 3 touchdown passes. 25 of 45 for 371 yards. And he said, yeah, my brother lost this game to end his career, and I plan to change all that. He's 2 minutes, 31 seconds away from changing it.
He had a lot of help from that defense. I mean, Washington scored 14 points in this football game. And they had the kickoff return and shut them out in the second half. And you got to give credit to the defense.
Jarzinka back waiting on the kick. And he'll have to backpedal for it from the 13. Jarzinka found a little opening and then got leveled from behind. 11-yard return of a 42-yard punt. Coming up New Year's Day on ABC Sports, it's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, 4:30 Eastern from Pasadena. Unbeaten Arizona State still has a shot at the national championship. The Sun Devils will take on the once-beaten Buckeyes of Ohio State. Rose Bowl on ABC, 4:30 Eastern, New Year's Day. Arizona State, the only team to beat Washington in the Pac-10 this year. We've been surrounded by poinsettias up here in the booth tonight. It's kind of a festive thing.
It is.
First down. Time running out on the Huskies. Heward, he's going to run with it here. He's got a lot of open field. Get what you can and get it out to the 38-yard line. First down. Neuheisel's right. All those quarterbacks from Washington look like they are wearing flak jackets when they're not. Well, maybe he has one on, but he's huge.
He does. He is big. And they got a guy, Shane Fortney, who got hurt this year, who's another one of those Mark Brunell type runners, a 4.5 guy who's, was battling with Brock earlier in the year.
Brock's throwing it down the sideline. Intercepted. Nope, out of bounds. Ryan Black had his hands on it, but stepped on the sideline.
Yeah, you can see that all the way. That was a freshman mistake. And there is the, look at the divot. There's a divot.
And that guy knows divot.
That guy knows divot. He's a golfer. In fact, he might go golfing right after this game. See? Now look, he's pointing to the screen.
He's pointing to the
screen.
Jumbotron here.
Jumbotron.
I think he's got a point. I think he's in.
Let's see if we can get this thing and see what's happening. Ryan Black catches that ball.
You need one foot.
Come down.
Right.
Yes,
there.
he did.
He's
that
in.
was it. That was an interception.
Great play.
Yeah, oh, well, you blew it.
Well,
you blew it. I'm standing right there. Yeah, but
he's working it to the end.
You know what he's saying? It ain't going to cost you. You're all right. You're all right.
Rick's saying, you better give me one next year then.
Give me one against, I'll trade one for the one against Nebraska.
That's right. Second down. Blitz coming up the middle. All over here. Ouch. Man. That just blew up in the backfield. Everybody was there. Fred Jones was the guy that came flying through, and then Phillips and the rest of the gang meet at number 7.
You can see the sophistication in Colorado's pass offense, who throws a lot, versus what happens when Washington has to throw. Corey Dillon got there and made the block, but that's a block that should probably be made by the guard. It takes too long for the running back to get there, and he was right in the quarterback's face.
Heward on 3rd and long. Completes it. Trying to get to the first down sticks. About a yard short. Complete to Coleman.
This is the one play where you can't hurry up too much. On 4th down, you have to pick up the first down. So take your time, call out a play, and know that you only have less than a yard to pick it up here. Probably a yard might be the best way to say it.
Ball game play right here. And Dillon's got it. And he's into the secondary. Nice stiff arm. Down to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, they had to pick up the first down, and they popped it just enough. Colorado's playing pass on that play, and Dillon pops it, gets it in there. Still 51 seconds to go.
Now they need a quick strike and an onside kick. Sounds like a lot, but crazier things have happened at the Holiday Bowl.
Well, yeah.
Sports Center is roughly 51 seconds away, and Heward spikes it to stop the clock. It'll be second down from the 41-yard line.
Matt Russell was hugging Olin Kreutz on that play. He's saying, this is fun. My last game against one of the toughest guys I've faced all year.
I said to Matt, you know, when you go play pro football, where would you like to play? He said, well, I'd love to play for the Broncos. I got so many friends in Colorado. It's been such a great stay. And he said it is, you can't explain to a young man what playing college football, as he has played so well, has meant. He said it's been 4 times more fun than I ever anticipated.
You know, but he gave it away, though, when I said, you know, Detroit needs one, too. Oh, that'd be good, too. I love Detroit. He'll go anywhere.
Second down and 10. Heward steps up, going long, airing it out. Payfon's out there.
Oh, got the call.
He didn't have to wait till next year for the call. Rosga and Wheeler are there.
I think he must have dropped that thing because it was right near the sideline. I thought he had it. I'll tell you right now, if Rosga catches one or makes a play, he's going to get a penalty.
Yep.
Because he's going to celebrate.
He would have done that in the first quarter.
Yep.
Rosga said, if I do something big, I'm going to get a celebration penalty. It's my last game.
Watch this. I thought he had this ball.
Oh, Rosga with a play.
You got it. Rosga came across and put it right in his face.
Well, there was a lot of long faces around college football when the last Rosga came down the pipe. Jeff played at Minnesota. Tim is at Wisconsin. Steve here. And then they had a younger sister, and she probably played football pretty well. But... And now time winding down as we're near a half minute. Kissel with the catch.
4th down call.
Now do you get the first down or just go for the touchdown? You're down to your last 20 seconds. You don't get either. Ryan Olsen ends all hope for the Huskies.
I think Colorado's depth, fresh players, and a hot quarterback showed Washington that they have a good football team, but they don't have enough scholarship players. They may be a year away.
A redshirt freshman who will see another day. A senior who will go on, hopefully, to the next level, he thinks, and we're going to see him out in the Hula Bowl. And a nice performance by Colorado.
And two well-coached teams, two heavyweights of college football.
Our teams all year, we want to thank them. Will Belke and Mark Grant produced and directed some of our ball games. Scott Johnson, our director tonight. Ed Placey, our producer. As always, a marvelous job along with our ESPN crew up here in the booth. Pat McGrath and Clint Deans on stats and spotting respectively. Nobody better. And we're about ready to wrap up our 5th year together.
Don't seem right. When do I see you again? Next September?
I'll see you at the Hula Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Some of us will be out in Hawaii. And some of these players will be out in Hawaii. But the Plymouth Holiday Bowl goes to Colorado. 33-21. Rick Neuheisel with the victory. Well orchestrated by a sensational quarterback in Coy Detmer in his final game in a Colorado uniform. That's going to do it. 33-21. Final Colorado over Washington. Coming up next, Sports Center with a full wrap-up of the day's events and activities. And now for Gary Danielson and Adrian Karsten and our entire ESPN crew. Brad Nessler saying so long. Have a wonderful New Year, everybody. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Our congratulations to Colorado. They are the '96 Plymouth Holiday Bowl champions. Sports Center's next.